And we are live, and welcome to another episode of the Frenzy Freestyle Sunday of the Children of Primus. And this week I've got freaking Stein joining us. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I've been having a lot of fun doing these YouTube videos and meeting good people like you.
Cool. Yeah, just coming across your videos and especially in the chat. The one thing that I know with the connection was with the recent movie and just seeing your comments on it, and I'm like, okay, this guy's he's going in what no matter what anyone says.
Well, I stick to what I believe in, and I analyze everything in the possible ways that I can, and I like to keep my opinions pretty brief, but I like to say stuff.
Hey, I was only 56 seconds late. You can mark that on the clock.
Only 56 seconds.
Yeah.
What is it? Someone's echoing. Let's see who it is in a moment. Ben Jenkins
There we are.
on Facebook has said it wasn't that bad, guys.
No. Who said it's bad? Did somebody say it was bad?
Well, I mean, some people have been 50-50 about it, and I mean, to start off the stream, I want to say, we're finding things that we had issues with it, but we're not going to throw hate at it as, as like the straight Michael Bay versions where we're like, okay, that's an absolute dumpster fire. Because, I mean, we all did enjoy it, but there's still things that could be improved, fixed,
that's true. Nothing
just
is above criticism.
Exactly.
Hi, new person, Freakenstein.
How's it going?
Not bad. I just blazed into here after being out and about, so I'm getting my bearings.
Yeah, I just came in from the rain. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Gotham Central. It's a comic book store up in Mississauga. I was up there today with my fiance Jess and my friend Andrew. They were having like a big sale, and they had like a bunch of contests and a bunch of food outside, and they had a Batman show up in a very good costume and a Michael Keaton Batmobile and a Blues Brothers car. It was a nice whole setup. It was a big outdoor thing.
And Darth Vader was there.
Huh?
Darth Vader.
Oh yeah, Darth Vader was there too.
Okay.
I heard you say that no one is above. What was it?
Criticism?
I'm like, no, I am. Don't you fucking dare.
We're talking about Transformers films.
Anyway. Look at my babies. Look at them.
Jess got these while she was there. It was like...
Y'all like Chainsaw Man? Look,
I don't even know what Chainsaw Man
They're
is.
so sweet.
I feel like nobody here except me and you knows what Chainsaw Man is based on the demographics.
No idea. Then you suck and you should get a life and watch Chainsaw Man.
Yes, become weebs instead of Transformers people.
But Chainsaw Man is so good. Chainsaw Man is amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's
I
so
watched
good.
it with her and Andrew. It was alright. It was more than alright.
This adorable character right here is based off of Eric Cartman. Just saying.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
the writer
awesome.
said that.
Watch Chainsaw Man.
I see the look on Toy Warp's face, and the only thing going through his head is Funko Pop.
Yeah. Oh, those weren't Funko Pops.
What are you, a mind reader?
Those were not Funko Pops. Those were were those Nendoroids, Jess? They were something else. They weren't Funko Pops. We're not Funko Pop people.
I don't know what they are. It's all in Japanese.
Yeah, something Japanese.
It's all in Japanese. I don't know.
Yeah, let me see. Mega House. Whatever this is.
Yes. In previous videos, I had mentioned that there is these cats I wanted. Do you recall the cats? Oh, that's way too bright. Show the face. Yeah. Look, I got a bear cat, and as you recall, it's got balls. And then I got the lion one today. Look, it's got a little snaggletooth. And once again, it's got balls. And then, the one I originally had wanted, guys. The frog one. The light's not working for me right now. God damn it, everything's too bright. Hi, Pep.
I see a cat back there.
And also balls. The holy ball is too bright for you today.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've lost so many
happy
Transformers
Pride,
to
everyone.
cats.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
gay. If you're not gay this month, then you are lame.
So I guess
I'm allowed to say this because I'm bisexual. Be
So I guess
gay
the
and
rest-
do crimes. Being
God, there
gay
goes the
is a crime
monetization
in
again.
several countries, and people are like, "Why is Pride a thing?" Because we're a crime. Trans people have rights. The gays are awesome. Let's go, gay people. All right, bye.
There we go. We had our Jess moment.
At least Spin likes me.
They all heard that.
You gave me nothing, but Spin was like, "Yeah, Spin's my boy. Spin knows what's up. Spin's invited to the cookout."
Jess, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I've been
All
making
right.
jokes. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just about to say, I see we have some fresh meat.
Yes,
Freakenstein, huh?
Stein,
Yeah.
Toy Work Vintage Reviews. And
How's it going?
What's up?
I think I've been following you for a while too. I gotta
I
try to
appreciate
follow
that.
everybody that's in the community. You know, everybody's got their take on everything, and I like to learn everybody's.
Yeah.
So what's your deal? How come I'm not following you? What do you got?
Yeah.
Well, I
Give
just
us-
started 3 months ago, believe it or not. So,
On YouTube?
yes,
Okay.
I'm very new to all this. I had to learn how to edit. I had to learn how to do everything. I'm so new to this stuff. It's not even funny, but
It's a hell of a learning curve, huh?
well, certain circumstances don't let me work anymore. So I decided I got 3,000 Transformers. Why don't I do what I've been watching for the last 5 years, right? So
That's what
Gotcha. What's your channel name?
it's Freakenstein, just Freakenstein.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, we got something in there.
They both say "always be with you" inside of it.
What
It's
do we got?
movie RC. Not our current movie RC, but the original movie RC. She was going to be in the first Bay movie. She didn't make the cut, but they took her concept art and made a figure out of it anyway. That's what was on screen.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. One thing that you're going to be watching me doing, probably quietly in the background, is beginning my my TFCon sales by taking everything off of these shelves, chucking them in some bins here, and then rebuilding my shelves with an eye towards what's getting cut and what's staying. So my first step is I got a big old bin here. Everything's going in there, and I got a second bin out there for when this is full.
Yeah, so on the last TFCon I went to was in 2021, and unfortunately I couldn't get a table. But the people that were running it, my brother's real good friends with them, and my cousin's ex-wife actually does help out a lot with all the cons. So they let me go there, and I did a charity, and I auctioned off one of those Robeson self-transforming Optimus Primes when I was there.
Nice.
So yeah, I ended up
That's funny.
making, I think, $1,300 there, and another $2,000 in my city, and I donated it to the local food bank.
You were at
I know-
TFCon Toronto?
Yeah.
It's a small
Did
world.
we meet you?
We
Because
did.
there was somebody with a wagon carting a Robocen Optimus around.
That was me, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So we did meet you a couple years ago.
Wow,
Yeah.
I still have the video of when he was transforming. So it's
Yeah.
a small world to reconnect like that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think I was going to get into YouTube whatsoever, but like I said, I got a motorcycle accident, and now everywhere I go, they look at my records and they're like, oh, "We're sorry, you're a liability." So, I appreciate the government helping me out, but I don't want to do that forever. You know what I mean? So, I'd rather help other people out than get a handout.
So you think you're going to get rich on doing YouTube?
Oh, I don't think I'm going to get rich. I just want to do it because it makes me happy to put smiles on people's faces, Like I go out in costume and take pictures all the time with kids and grown-ups, and they just love it. They're like, oh, Optimus Prime, or Megatron, or Soundwave, because I got all 3 costumes.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
It's funny that you're like, oh, I know the guys that run the convention. I've been going to TFCon for like probably a decade now. Frequently, I have a table there. You'd think I'd know people by this point, but I really don't. I still just show up.
That's a lot of faces to remember, though.
About
Yes.
why certain people aren't allowed there anymore.
Oh,
That's off the stream business, but I want to know.
I would not even know where to begin inquiring about such things. I know nobody. I
need that too.
I know you guys.
It needs to be piping hot, and I need it fresh.
Yeah.
Like. Also, if Joey's watching, shout out to you, you my bitch.
Yeah, she's from Gotham Central.
I love you, Joey.
Always an unexpected response. And
Yeah.
And on Twitch, Diggs BTW7 says, "Hey, what's up, G?"
Yeah, it's so weird, freaking Stein. You said that you've been following the Toy Warp thing for a while. Well, it's so weird where Cruisers is like 10 times the size of the Toy Warp channel, and no one ever tells me they've been following Cruisers. Anytime someone tells me they followed me, it's always on Toy Warp. Which I guess isn't a bad thing. It's just kind of weird that, you know, the other channels is way bigger, and I never hear anybody say, "Oh yeah, I follow your Cruisers channel." Wait, what?
Well, I try to follow anybody that has something with Transformers on it. If I see Transformers and I'm not following them, I click on it. You know, I look at it this way: Transformers community is the best community on here because we all have one thing in common: Transformers. Whether we like Generation 1 or Beast Wars or Armada, whatever the case may be, it's all Transformers, and we're all here to support Transformers, right? That's the bottom line. So, and I'm a firm believer of supporting anybody, whether they have 2 followers or 100,000, you know?
Yeah. I always like doing the math, because you mentioned Armada, of the fact that an 8-year-old in 2002 when that came out would be 29 now. So that's perfect demographic.
See, and to be honest, I just started watching Beast Wars and all the other cartoons. I was strictly G1, and it's just this year that I started watching them. And this is why I'm probably so hard on the movie, is because it's so fresh in my mind of what has happened in Beast Wars and Beast Machines, and how in the movies it gave you hints of stuff that was in the cartoons, but it didn't explain anything. And anybody that was new that's watching this isn't going to get it. It's going to be a big gap of what's that supposed to mean, right? So, like, I kind of found that to be a big flaw in the movie at the time.
There's a lot that was implied without being stated, and I thought that was very strange.
Yes.
It's weird, but, like, I mean, I've been trying to go watch it again. I probably will this week. I only saw it the one time. The thing that I keep coming back to is the 86 animated movie, and partially for pacing reasons, but also because if you actually think back and look at it in isolation, they explain nothing in that movie. They don't explain Unicron, they don't explain the Matrix, they don't explain the Quintessons or the Junkions or why there's all these other races that act like Transformers. We just kind of got to go with it. This movie's a bit like that. It's a bit better because they explain a little bit, but the level of exposition is equally not high. It's just operating on vibes, the same way that one was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so what I didn't understand is this. You basically said that those were the last Maximals. The 4 characters were the last Maximals that are there. So that kind of kills it for another sequel. You can't bring in more Maximals now because they're not there. But not only that, but the bad guys, weren't they supposed to be sorry, I'm having a brain fart here, but in Beast Wars, they're the Predacons, are they, or something like that? So why are they all transforming into trucks and cars? Like, especially
they weren't the Predacons, they were the Terracons.
Yeah, the Terracons.
Yeah, they were the Terracons.
Yeah. Like,
and we did see
Nightbird.
a Predacon symbol on Scourge's arm
exactly.
as one of the ones he was collecting. So, like, they exist somewhere in this universe.
So I actually just picked this up today.
Oh, is that the Flex Changer?
It's the Nightbird, I believe it is.
Yeah. I was curious about those.
And honestly, I haven't opened it up yet, but again, like you would think with the name Nightbird that she would be some kind of bird, right? Something, right? Like you didn't have any bad guys, and like there's no Megatron, there's no nothing, right?
There's Cheetor, Studio Series Cheetor. Yeah.
Now, see, that's a discussion I would love to talk about, is Hasbro's quality of toys and the pricing of them, because everyone I've got, if you watch any of my videos on the reviews of these toys, every single one of them, a piece has fallen apart. Like, I feel ripped off every time I buy one.
Yeah, that's why I'm super curious about those flex changers, because I've heard like a bunch of different things, because they're like a gimmick thing where you're supposed to turn them inside out to do a quick change.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, that could be very nifty, that could be not great. I've heard both things. That's why I'm curious, right?
And like, let's face it, how many people under 8 are actually buying Transformers?
That's what I wonder. Nobody has. Like, on one hand, because I watch, like, the social media streams whenever the designers, like, roll out the new stuff. Like, they just had one this week. I like those because they're very transparent, and then they'll go on Instagram and do individual posts about each figure. And it sounds like they're pretty much just designing these for older collectors, the way they talk about it. But at the same time, somebody asked them during a live stream, why do you have the open boxes still if you're going plastic-free? Why don't you just seal it off? And they were like, well, because kids, who are the majority of our audience, somehow respond better when you can see the robot. So that's why there's open boxes. So apparently, even though it doesn't seem like it, they still consider kids to be the majority audience for like, at least the stuff that has an open box.
Yeah. But, then why not stick to, like, maybe 3 different types of toys then? Do the things for under 8 and then do the rest and focus on them, because there's just like so many lines now, especially with Hasbro, that they're coming out with, and it's like, yeah, some of them are cool, but like, I want to save my money for the coolest one, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to buy 1 million of these legacies when you're coming out with the 86 series of the Dinobots, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather save my money for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. On the other, like, on one hand, it's expand. That's how marketing and successful things like this work. On the other hand, I'm like, I gotta be picky. I don't get everything. I kind of pick things and go with them. Like, I don't really do studio series outside of the Bumblebee movie stuff, which I basically completed. I don't. I mostly just stick to legacy stuff based on specific characters and media that I like, and that's about it. And you know what? Like, I'm about to go through some self-analysis here, because I'm taking these shelves down and I'm putting them back up. And when I'm putting them back up, I'm going to be asking myself, what am I collecting right now? What is my focus and what is not my focus? And what is not my focus is going to go up for sale when TFCon comes around.
Kind of amazing how quick that focus can change and how often it changes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of healthy. I mean, I'm not passing. Everybody does it, but like everybody does it differently. But for me, I'm like, I think it's kind of healthy to treat this as a transient thing. Like, things are going to come, things are going to go. This is probably why my numbers, when we did our collection numbers, are not as high as everybody else's, because I'm very much in and also out instead of just in.
Well, I think to tie in with both points, as Freakenstein said, that Hasbro just has like multiple lines. It's almost like they're just throwing a bunch of darts, hoping to hit a target.
Exactly.
But then at the same time, as you're saying, in terms of reassessing what your shelf is, for a lot of us that collected our Transformers from when we were kids up to early mid-adulthood, like, you only had the one series. So it's just like, you just have your G1s and that's it. And you weren't really into the newer stuff that came out almost 20, 30 years later, because you still had your G1s.
I think a lot about I think a lot about like these gimmick guys, like those flex changers, and how nowadays they're a separate thing depicting the same characters, when in G1 They were the jump starters, the battle chargers, the throttle bots. They were just a part of the main line as separate characters.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting how they've kind of split it out into its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, it's a known factor. Again, like the designers have said this when they do social media interviews and things. Rise of the Beast wasn't supposed to have so many things launch at once. It's because the movie was supposed to come out a year ago, June 2022, and so like all this, all the like green box stuff like that was going to come out in 2022, and the Studio Series stuff that's coming out now was always going to come out now because they wanted to let it cook a little longer than the mainline stuff. It's just because the movie was delayed, they delayed the main line, that everything kind of dropped at the same time when that wasn't the original plan.
Yeah, and I just heard news too about Transformers 1. I don't know if you guys are following up on that, but now it's going to be on my birthday, September 13th. So like,
did it get pushed back?
I'm like, what's going on here, man? Like, are they doing this for me? Because like, you know, I've always wanted the origin story. I want that origin story, and I was talking the other day with one of you guys, and I'm sorry I can't see the screen; it's so small. Spin, I was talking to you about this, that they need to do an origin story where Megatronus and Orion Pack start the war by fighting over Cybertron, because make it like a white collar versus blue collar type of thing, right? And they're friends, but they end up, you know, touching. I wouldn't even know what to even call it, like the all-spark of Cybertron, and that's when they finally become Optimus Prime and Megatron and gain the power to transform and have it like an explosion where now all the robots are now Transformers, just because of them messing with the all-spark of Cybertron or the key of Cybertron, whatever they decide to do, you know, and that's where you get the storyline from the beginning to what Transformers really were. Like, have them not transforming until the point where they both touch that key and cause a chain reaction, and now they're Transformers, and they go from Orion Pack to Optimus Prime and Megatronus to Megatron.
That would be an interesting take on the backstory. They're always younger relatively than these ancient things typically.
Okay, now that's something I got a bone to pick about this movie. Okay. Okay, so Rise of the Beast, I can't even believe this. It bugged me in all the other Michael Bay movies, too. You got Optimus Prime and Megatron, which are supposedly the oldest Transformers in all their groups, right? They're not old, and they don't fall apart, and they're well-maintained. Why do you have these characters that are so old, falling apart and breaking down constantly?
They did explain with Jetfire, they specifically blamed it on the fact that he hadn't had Energon in a long time, and that made him break down and get old. They don't explain with anybody else, but that was what Revenge of the Fallen went with him, as to why he, like, aged.
Well, I think they did it in another movie. I believe it was Wheeljack, that they made him really old with glasses and a beard and all kinds of stuff. And
they were trying to make him look like Einstein.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, what are you guys doing, man? There's nothing wrong with the Transformers' faces. Why do you got to keep messing with them and changing them like that, you know?
Yeah, that kind of got to a creepy level of detail.
We can just pretend it's a different character. They only ever call him Q in the movie. He can be unrelated.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it weird, though, that, I just read an article saying somewhere that said it was the higher-ups that were messing with Wheeljack and why he had to look like Robot Steve Urkel. But it's so weird because they said the same thing about Q, about the name changed from Wheeljack to Q, and the fact that he was an inventor, and it was just what do the higher-ups have against Wheeljack anyway?
I know, right?
Seriously. I always bring up. I always assume every producer is insane, because I've brought up that Kevin Smith story that he told where he was trying to get Superman off the ground in the '90s, and had this series of meetings with this insane producer who wanted all these weird changes, and that lives rent free in my head as what a producer is like. So I always just assume they're all like that guy.
Well, been Barry Sonnenfeld.
Yeah, Silverbolt.
Must have been Barry
Yeah, which
Sonnenfeld because he had this thing where Spider-Man or where Superman had to fight a gigantic spider.
Yes, that's the guy. And like, if anybody else here hasn't watched it, just YouTube Kevin Smith's Superman story. You'll find it. It's a great watch. And he just goes... Yeah, the guy was obsessed with giant spiders and having them in his movies. And that's why there was a giant spider in Wild Wild West.
Yeah, he ended up showing Wild Wild West, but I'm going to spoil a little part of the Flash for you. Because everyone knows Nick Cage. Nick Cage's version of Superman shows up in the Flash. In the Flash, he shows up and he fights a giant spider.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Sorry.
Oh, Michael Orlati on YouTube. Hey, what's up, Mike? Says, nope, we need a Children of Primus origin story. No pun intended. And then he says, vote for Pablo.
Yeah. I did think it was kind of funny. As much as people complain about that guy, he was barely in the actual finished movie, so it like almost wasn't worth the fuss.
Yeah, right.
Which I mean,
he was just.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
After the movie came out, somebody said he could have been Beachcomber, and I was like, there you go. See, now somebody's saying something rational. They could have named him that instead, and it would have been basically the same. Because he wasn't even a nerd; he was a hippie.
Yeah.
And I mean the whole other thing. Actually, first, hey Charlie, how's it going?
Pretty good. I must be on the wrong channel because I thought this was Transformers.
Well, I was going to say, with the movie, I mean, the focus on Beast Wars and Rise of the Beast, there's hardly, after watching it, it's almost like there's not enough focus on the Beast Wars characters.
Yeah. I heard somebody call them guest stars. That's a good way to put it, guest stars.
Guest stars, yeah.
Yeah, I will say it was better. They had more to do than I thought they were going to. I was fully expecting a Age of Extinction Dinobot situation where they just show up for the third act and just kind of are there and then leave. They got to be at the beginning of the movie. They got a bunch of dialogue. They got to be a part of the story. So my bar was on the floor. They did better.
Yeah.
And the other thing that surprised me was how much of the Beast Wars setup they managed to import into the film's plot, because Beast Wars is like a bunch of characters who are isolated and alone and stranded on a different planet, and I'm like, that's what happened here too. I wasn't expecting that.
And to be honest with you, though, I still can't get past the fact that they said we are the last, and then not only that, but you turn Airazor into a bad guy, like right away, like what the heck,
it's kind of funny.
Now there's only three. There's only three. I remember there's like, 20?
But there is some precedence for Airazor being bad. So when the Armada toy line, she was one of the 4 horsemen of Unicron, along with Pterosaur, Rhinox, and Cheetor.
Yeah, it happened in the Dreamwave comics too. She did become a herald of Unicron against her will in those comics. So there is precedent.
But then also in the IDW 2.0, the series that ran about like 17 issues or so, Sea, Tigertron, Inferno, Polar Claw, and some the Dinobots from Beast Wars Neo, served the box. So there's 2 instances, both from the 2000s and the last few years, where she is a quote-unquote bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with her being a bad guy. I am fine with her being a bad guy. The problem I have is this. They said they're the last 4, and you got rid of one, right? Like, right away. And now you can't even do a sequel and add more. If you do, it's just going to screw up the storyline again, just like the Bay movies have done forever.
I will say, them being the last is something that's very easy to change. Remember in Age of Extinction, they were the group of Autobots in that movie were like, we're the last ones. They've hunted everybody down. Next movie, there's still more of them.
Yeah.
So
it's just
they could very easily bring them back.
That's what I was saying.
Dialogue to fix that.
Yeah.
So I could imagine it being sort of like the reverse of what happened in the Beast Wars cartoons, where they're totally organic, and then you go kind of a mix of transmetal and organic. So maybe we find out in the next movie is that what happened to some of the disappearing Maximals and maybe Predacons is that there's Transformers that totally turn organic with it during their time on Earth. And also maybe there's ones that go Predacon. So that's what I'm thinking.
How many of you guys were disappointed that you didn't see Rat Trap?
Oh boy, you had to open that can of worms.
Yeah. You're gonna die. Yeah, no, I mean I was. Jess was. Several people were. I like to say two things. One, he wasn't there because the movie would have been over in 20 minutes because he would have solved everything. But also, more plot relevantly, remember at the end how they're like, oh, you two small humans got to go light the bomb off. If Rat Trap was there, he would have done that instead, and then the humans wouldn't have had anything to do in the final act.
So sure Rat Trap wouldn't be really big.
Speaking of the human, like when Mirage gave him that thing on his hand, like what were they trying to do? Like turn him into a Power Master or something? Because don't get me wrong. But I'm pretty sure that the Power Masters started off as humans in robot suits, right? And then they eventually became actual robots, right?
It is a part of the long tradition of mech suits in Transformers. He is an exosuit wearer. He is a Power Master. He is Kicker from Transformers Energon. He is Miko wearing the Apex armor in Transformers Prime. He is so many of those.
You got to think, in movies right now, you have that vacuum left by Iron Man. Yeah. Everyone's trying to fill that vacuum and get the next big deal to replace Iron Man.
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm glad. See, my brother and my father owned a comic book store. When my brother turned 18, my dad bought him a comic book store. My brother's been drawing comics his whole life, and I have to say this because I wasn't into Marvel or DC. Unfortunately, I had to read them all. So, growing up, reading the comic books, seeing the cartoons, seeing everything, and watching these movies, I just felt disappointed watching them all. The only one I really don't feel disappointed with it's really because you can't screw up the character. It's Deadpool. Because you can't screw him up. He just has to be a cocky asshole.
Ryan Reynolds was born for that role.
He was.
But now I guess Deadpool 3 is going to be completely neutered because something has to do with the writer's strike.
It's also Disney too, right, guys? Like Disney has a big...
it's Disney too now, but Ryan Reynolds isn't allowed to ad-lib now.
Yeah.
It's like, that's half the fun of a Deadpool movie.
I will say, and Guardians of the Galaxy already stole his thunder, because I'm like, you can drop one F-bomb in a movie, and Deadpool would have to figure out a creative way to do it. Then I'm like, oh, they already did that in Guardians. Dang, yes. So that joke's been taken.
And that's another one I do enjoy, too, because it's kind of hard to screw up Guardians of the Galaxy, too, because just how the comics went, right? They were all over the place and involved with everything, and, bumbling buffoons that win. That's what I thought of them, right? So, but.
Speaking of comics, does everybody here know about Void Rivals?
Yep.
So we know who's going to be doing Transformers now. The next set of comics.
We know the lineup, the team lineup too.
Yeah, it is Image Comics, specifically a subsidiary called Skybound. Because Robert Kirkman of Walking Dead and Invincible fame is writing a comic called Void Rivals, and it's an original science fiction property. It's an enemy mind setup where two people from warring races end up on a planet and have to try and get off. And then 3/4 of the way through the issue, they're like, oh, here's a spaceship. Let's see if we can get it working. And the spaceship changes into Skyfire, or Jetfire. He's very Sunbow styled. And he's like, oh, crap, how long have I been out? I gotta leave. And then he leaves, and they're like, wait, come back. Crap, I guess we gotta figure out how to get off this planet still. And then the back pages, they're like, yeah, we're launching Transformers. Transformers and G.I. Joe. It's gonna be written by somebody else.
Oh, hello, kitty baby. Did you, Anthony, did you notice how the way they describe each other, how especially how the guy described the females group, how it kind of just sounded like how the Autobots would describe the Decepticons and vice versa?
Yeah. It's very interesting. Robert Kirkman said Void Rivals is going to be its own thing, but it is going to be like a shared universe with Transformers and G.I. Joe. Yeah, that guy right there.
Skybound?
So, speaking of Skyfire, how many of you owned the Robotech version in '82 when it first came out.
A friend of mine I grew up had it, but I never had it.
So in '82, I got him for my birthday, and that was before Transformers even hit anything. So I always tell people I've been collecting since '82 because I had the Robotech version of Jetfire, Skyfire, whatever you want to call them. I always get that too. People are always getting on me. Oh, it's Jetfire. No, it's Skyfire. No, it's Jetfire. It's Skyfire. Jetfire, Skyfire. And it's like, okay, you guys win. You win. But I wanted to ask you guys, have any of you guys started collecting these guys?
I'm on the fence with them. I like the looks of them, but I'd rather see a G1 color version of it.
I agree with the color, but since I've gotten two now, they're as good as quality as Chang Toys. I'm really impressed. Like, they're solid built toys.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, like I'm very excited about getting the third one, which is supposed to be what is his name? Jeez, too many Transformer names in my head right now. The leader of the Aerobots, what's his name?
Silverbolt. Yeah.
Silverbolt, that's it, guys. Thank you. So I'm pretty excited about that one because he comes with two, like, aircraft or airplane carrier, like something NASA would use, and I guess those are going to become the feet. So
that's cool. I used to work in the Air Force, so I worked on F-15s. They're like that
cool.
kind of nostalgia to me. Those.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello. Magnus probably has a whole set of.
Well, I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
They're talking about the new.
Talking about the heavy breathing, baby. It's turning me on. You got an OnlyFans or what?
Actually, someone's mic has gone insane.
It's not me.
It's not me. I think it's Bill.
I didn't even breathe, so.
Yeah, it is Bill.
There you go. I was just grabbing my copy of the comic I was talking about, Void Rivals.
Yep. Yeah, I think, Bill, it is your mic.
I don't think I have my other mic on, even plugged in.
So I take it you guys only watched the movie once, right?
Yeah, we're trying to find time.
Okay. So did anything change for either of you guys when you watched it the second time? Because the second time I watched it at home and I fell asleep within 20 minutes.
No, we can still hear
every breath
you're taking. No, we can still hear every breath you're taking. It's hot, baby. Oh, don't do that. You're going to charge me extra.
Where do I send money?
Michael Arlati says we got Vader on this evening.
Yeah. So here's the solicits. I was just trying to figure out who was writing what. Transformers #1 is going to be written by a guy named Daniel Warren Johnson. And there's going to be 2 G.I. Joe series, Duke and Cobra Commander by Joshua Williamson. I'm not familiar with these authors, so I can't really speak to their work, but this is how it's going to go, and it's going to be a shared universe, along with Robert Kirkman's Void Rivals here. I'm just happy to have new Transformers comics again, so I'm jazzed to see where this goes.
I have a question for you, Anthony, when you get a moment.
Yeah?
So, as you know, I don't know too much about B-Force because I'm a G1 head, but do you feel Ape Link was killed too quickly in the movie? Should they establish his character before they let him go, or was that the right time?
That was fine. Ape Link is like a super deep cut of a character. He's from the old BotCon years in the 90s. He was a BotCon exclusive who was in some comics, like all BotCon stuff was. It was just like the reason that he was even in the movie was because the original figure was an Optimus Primal repaint, because that's what they did. They did exclusive decos. And they were like, we already have the CGI model for Optimus. If we use Ape Link, we can just clone him, and then that'll be the character. So I was like,
let me ask this real quick. Anthony. Is he more or less like a Sentinel Prime type of version for Primal, or is he more like an Alpha Trion?
Nah, totally different character. He's a younger guy. He's like he becomes a member of the Wreckers during Beast Machines, and he's like a computer programmer that can download digital stuff and make it real. Like the thing is, it's a completely different character. It's very obviously just them taking the name of another ape transformer so they could have somebody there. Which,
my opinion is they took all the awesome stuff from all the different eras of Transformers, took all that awesome stuff, stuck it together, and made a turd because they didn't explain enough of everything so everybody could follow along. That's just my opinion, but it has lots of awesome things, but when it's all together as a whole, I just think it turned into a turd.
Oh, again, like nothing wrong with your opinion. I didn't regard it as a turd at all. I had a ball, and like I said, it made me think of the '86 movie and how it did things with its pacing and stuff. So I was very much not bothered by the lack of explaining things, but
I would imagine you would be bothered because you're such a Beast Wars fan. I'd probably be jazzed too if Beast Wars had never made a large screen or had any kind of large screen presence. Yeah, I'd be pretty jazzed too.
Yeah, I was just happy everybody got like named and more. They got the characters and setting more faithful than I thought it was going to be. So, which maybe not that faithful, but way more than I was expecting. So, like I really
guess I'm too much of a G1 diehard, I guess Yeah. But it's not just the movie; it's the whole series. It changed my life in ways that no one will ever understand because. I'm actually a highly functioning autistic, so I had to pretend to be something else, and Transformers gave me that outlet because here was one thing in front of your face, but then it could hide as another thing. So I didn't, I took that in my life and I worked with it throughout my whole life, and no one really knows, how I am, and it works out to my benefit because then I don't have to explain so much to people of how I think, the way I think, or why the way I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know the Transformers reviewer, he's Canadian based. He commented during the stream, like via the chat on YouTube once, Canadian reviews or whatever. A guy, facial hair. He lives in Canada. I can't remember his proper channel name, but I've seen him in the chat before.
Okay. Do you recall what he was saying?
I would have to look up his I would have to get out of the chat and then out of the stream and look him up.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm kind of a dual fan in that I grew up watching Generation 2, so the reruns of the G1 cartoon, so that is also very much where I got my start. And then Beast Wars was the second thing, so it's like, I like to say the Generation 1 cartoon, or its reruns, are what made me a fan, but Beast Wars is like what kept me a fan, because there was this sense of continuity, so the fact that it kept existing and kept going, that made me... that made me stick with the franchise. So I'm very much in a camp of both G1 and Beast Wars as somebody that went right from one to the other.
As Michael Lalati says, yo, Prime. And going back to freaking Stein's comment earlier, also before I get to that, hey, Jonathan, how's it going?
Yeah.
It's going well. Sorry I was a little bit late. I was
fine.
getting groceries and stuff, so...
As you should be.
Yeah.
Michael Arlotti says not every Canadian knows each other. Don't tell them that. Make them think we do. It'll play to our advantage.
Oh, it used to happen when we go to shows, performing somewhere, and they're like, so and so. I'm like, we don't all know each other. But
okay, part of me being American, I was going to ask you if you guys know Bret Hart or any of the Hart family. Oh shit! There you go.
I met him once.
There you go.
There you go. But I was going to say back to what Freakenstein said earlier, in terms of being a comic book reader and then watching like a show or a series, a show or a movie based on it, there's only a movie, say 2 hour length, they can only tell so much, whereas the comic book can span out the story for like a few years, multiple issues. So certain times you see a movie, people will come out asking, well, why was that character like that? And I'm like, really? That character needs like 7 movies to explain, to properly explain that character.
I have a question for the panel. Do you, for for this for Rise of the Beast, do you feel that they used the right characters for either team to set this, I guess, trilogy if it goes down that route? Could we have used better G1 characters? Could we have used better Beast Wars characters? Should Megatron and the Terracon, or what, I don't know what they call the Maximals or whatever they call Beast Wars, should they have made
Maximals
an
are the good
appearance?
guys. Yeah. Well, I'll say Rat Trap should have been there, but other than that, they had the main. They basically had most of the main Beast Wars cast there. So outside of his absence and I guess Tigatron's absence, I think they hit all the important guys. Dinobot is an example of where, like you said, you can't really do him if there isn't the history behind him, because his whole character arc on the show that made him so well liked and memorable. Yeah, Pep's looking right in the audience's soul. What made him so memorable took 2 seasons of a TV show to build up. So I wasn't as mad as some people of him not being in the movie, because I'm like, that'd be really hard to pull off inside 2 hours with a bunch of other stuff going on. And have it actually be effective. I didn't mind it.
Part of the reason why I was so grateful that you had me watch.
With a couple of the G1 characters they should have used. They should, because it seemed like Transformers was more urban this time, so they could have used a bunch of characters that probably would have fit the program instead of just bunching a bunch of bots that they just decided that they wanted a movie. I think there was a chance for Blaster, Trax to be in there, maybe Sideswipe and Sunstreaker, or just a whole new team of just bots that they could have included to make it, a better team.
Yeah, this sure was a big budget remake of Make Trax, wasn't it?
Yeah, right.
I honestly think they should have used a lot more of the 80s music at the time that was playing, rather than coming up with a new score for the whole movie that was just, it's good and all, but,
Well, they had a lot of 90s. It was based in 94, and they had a lot of hits from 93, 94.
Yeah, but think about this. When we watch movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and we hear all those songs, and we're not even from that area, but it brings back something, you know what I mean? And, I was hoping that, oh my God, we're going to hear some grunge music or some new age, the first kind of gangster rap or something, you know what I mean?
I think they missed the point with that, because they should have did that in Bumblebee.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But as for my...
Jess's complaints was the songs kept ending just as they were getting good.
But I was able to go the second time and get the trailer popcorn.
They still had some left?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I got it on the second one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I missed out on one. I couldn't... My city didn't even bring them in.
I don't even think we had them at our place. I got the bucket, but that's about it.
Well, it seemed like AMC got one. They got the trucks, and then there was a helmet that glowed. Bumblebee and Optimus Prime one.
We didn't even get that.
Cinemark, if you have those out there.
Yeah,
never saw the helmet.
There was no chance of getting those. And then I didn't realize
that electronic
Anthony, so I missed out on the straws, which goes in the mufflers. I should have grabbed those. But
somebody brought up the helmet with the glowing eyes. How are you supposed to wash that?
Yeah.
Very carefully.
Yeah.
Take it outside and hose it down.
Yeah. That'll completely destroy it.
So Michael on YouTube is saying it was a great soundtrack, was rapping the entire time, and my kid was looking at me strange.
Yeah. I checked later. Professor D and who was he with there? Ghost, yeah. They were 100% rhyming along with the soundtrack in a bunch of places. I was like, oh, nice. I was like way down the road, and I remember leaning over and going, are they yeah, they're it was endearing. Yeah.
Now, I can eat popcorn out of mine.
Oh.
Wow.
This is one of the modern Icons helmets, and after seeing this one here, I had no choice but to buy the Megatron and the Optimus Prime. And
Glenn, who was here
good
briefly,
luck that you found the
has a
Optimus
bunch of
Prime.
them.
I'm looking for it, and I cannot find it.
Oh, wow.
you know what? I was really lucky. We don't have GameStop here. We had EV Games, but they are GameStop.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and I seen it on the counter. And they're like, oh, it's a pre-order, but the guy canceled. And I was like, "Is it for sale?" And they're like,
so lucky.
"Yeah." I'm like,
Yeah, you're lucky.
"There you go. It's mine."
Yeah, I have them both. I've had more luck in Canada than I have in the U.S. Like, I picked this bad boy up. This is from Canada.
Oh, yeah. I didn't... Oh, see, my good GameStop that's mainly closed down. Otherwise, I'm sure that would have been there. I got the other set, the Orion Pack and Alpha Trion one, like way before anybody else, because my GameStop, the big one that I used to have, just had it on the shelves, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not immune to having thing early, and speed running a review of it so that I could throw it up there and be like, look, most of the world who doesn't have this yet.
Yeah, no, that's a good feeling when you get to do that every blue moon. I've only had that once with the Thundercracker Skyward Pack when that came out. I think I got that was probably second or third in California to have it.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Without the breathing.
So far.
It sounds like there's an airplane
No
going
Darth Vader.
God, it's good to be
That's
back.
me, I think.
Oh, that's you? Okay. I'm sweating a bit over here because I got to my rare Japan stuff on the top shelf, and I'm just taking that down and throwing them in there and trying not to mess them up.
Oh, that's
And
pretty
speaking
cool.
of the soundtrack, I will stand by what I said the other week. Was I nominated the Transformers movie for best use of LL Cool J's "Mama Said Knock You Out." Best use of that song I've ever seen in a movie.
Bro, when we were in the theater, Spin can talk to this, the whole audience went nuts.
Yeah.
Partially because Bumblebee was coming out the thing, but then also because they dropped the song, everybody was like clapping. Hey, and I said this before when we got back. This is the only Transformers movie I've seen in the theaters where the audience clapped and cheered. Never happened before. Happened multiple times during this one.
Man, in my theater.
Yeah.
Not in mine at all. I didn't understand because I went to the theater and I dressed up as Optimus Prime to take pictures. Like, I love taking pictures with people in the costumes, but I dressed up as Optimus Prime and I walk in there and I got like 20 pictures right away with kids and their parents. And they didn't even go see the movie. Okay? I had to pick my seat because there was only 3 seats by the time I went to go and register because it was on a Wednesday, right? I went and seen it on a Wednesday, and I think it was the 7th, not the 9th, but I went there, and what happened is I couldn't believe what I was into because half the theater was gone. And it showed that every seat was taken, but there was hardly anybody there. Weird. And I was sitting between everybody and squished in between everybody. I didn't have elbow room, nothing, and like I'm just looking. I'm like, I'm going to change seats, you know. And I get up to move, and the usher comes up to me and says, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going to move seats. I'm crowded over here." And he's like, "Oh, you can't. People might come." Halfway through the movie, I'm like, "What's going on?"
What theater are you at? I can't remember the last time I had ushers monitoring me in a movie theater.
I know, right? But here's the best part. They told me I could not come into that theater with my helmet on. And I'm like, sitting there thinking in my head, what am I going to do? I'm going to get on my little motorcycle in an Optimus Prime costume with a kid under my arm? Like, what are you guys thinking here? You know?
Would you dox yourself too much to say what theater this was? Partially to put him on blast, but also partially because I'm curious who has ushers in the year of our Lord 2023.
You know, and like honestly, it was one of the weirdest experiences I've had dressed up as Optimus Prime because usually it's so welcoming, you know. And I get in that theater and they were on me like white on rice. Like, they did not want me to have that helmet on. And I'm like, okay, fine, but I'm not taking the helmet off in front of kids. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen already how that affects these kids. Like, look at me. I got a beard. I don't look like I should be wearing an Optimus Prime costume. Let's face it. And then I take the mask off, and these kids are like, that's Megatron, not Optimus Prime. You know, like, so, you know, I had to go back outside and take it off, and, you know.
What's wilder than that is they wouldn't let you wear your helmet, but when, oh God, what was it? It was Revenge of the Fallen. I took my original, I asked them beforehand, I took my original Megatron without an orange cap on the end of it. No one said shit. The manager said, yeah, bring it, you know, it's not a problem, you know. No one said shit. That's insane that they
I'm
had.
glad you added the orange cap. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, man.
So where I'm from is Windsor, Ontario. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I bought this. I don't know if it's going to get all in there.
Yeah, I know it's all in there.
But I bought this. Okay. So I bought this, and I didn't know this, but I put it together. I put on the costume, and I went downtown. I was so excited, right? I got my 360 camera hooked up to the end. I'm going out taking pictures and videos.
Hopefully this is on your YouTube.
Pardon?
Hopefully this is on your YouTube.
Oh, it was going to be until 5 cop cars stopped me. Because 2 days before, someone in my city had a real live bazooka. And they just arrested somebody for it. So they thought I was some idiot with a bazooka again with this.
On one hand, that's unfair to you, but on the other hand, a guy brought a bazooka. That's not a normal circumstance. Yeah, so I'm kind of like,
you know, like here I am, so excited to get this thing, and I'm in costume. I'm going downtown. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna get great videos. I'm gonna meet a whole bunch of people, say hi, and whoop whoop.
5 barricades.
If it makes you feel any better, Frankenstein, within the month, we had in where I live in Dayton, Ohio, we had a naked guy running around with his sword. And that's not an innuendo. I mean, his actual samurai sword just going around like, and like, what drugs were he on?
Listen, I can relate with that because where I live is the homeless shelter, which most of them aren't really homeless. They just want to not have a place to live so they can spend all their money on drugs. And, like, I have a live show of craziness every second of the day. Like, it's unbelievable. As I was walking here to my studio, my friend gave me a room for a studio because I was just running out of room with all the Transformers I got. But as I was walking here, there was a girl pulling a cart in her bra and underwear, and they were white. And it's pouring rain here. Like, you couldn't even see 10 feet in front of your face, and it's pouring rain. This girl's walking around, talking to herself, screaming at herself because she's on something. But, like, you know, it's pretty bad in Windsor. It's pretty bad.
You didn't get her number?
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
To all the children that are watching up there, this is why drugs are bad. Spend your money on shit like this.
Yeah.
This will mess your
spending my money on RC already, so.
I used to play Magic the Gathering competitively, and we had
I'd rather have RC as a girlfriend right now than anybody else.
I used to play Magic the Gathering competitively, and we had T-shirts made that said, "Teach your kids to play Magic. They can't afford drugs."
Yeah.
Same with Pokemon.
Yeah, jeez, talk about
and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all the trading card games.
Transformers won't mess your mind up, but it might make you irrationally angry about feature films. That's Hey, Nemesis Prime.
Good. Nice. As Michael Alati says, just say no. Which actually,
and
I found this in a dollar store.
Hey, Origin Jazz. Oh, and you got a Gundam.
Yeah, a Gundam. Yeah, I've never owned a Gundam, and I saw it in a dollar store. I'm like, let me just buy one.
There are 2 figures on screen at the same time. One of them was Origin Jazz, the other one was a Gundam Infinity.
Now, I'm going to age myself as a Gundam fan, but I like if you can look up the movie trilogy of the original Gundam. Because the original TV series didn't do too well, but the original movie trilogy did, and then the OA mission team's really good. Like if you're a Star Wars fan and you like Rogue One, had like the world phase a little bit more intense. It's like the Gundam equivalent of that. And then Gundam Wings is like the classic '90s North America kids introduction to the Gundam world.
Yeah, that's the one I know, right? So.
Rogue One.
Yeah, both Gundam Wing and 08 Mission Team.
By the way,
so I found these at my dollar store.
Oh, dude, which ones are those? Which guys?
I got Optimus Prime and Starscream there. I did see the Bumblebee.
I got the Starscream too.
I did see the Bumblebee, but after looking at him, and again, my fault for being a G1 guy, I don't think Bumblebee should be in anything. Like, don't get me wrong, to me, Bumblebee is probably my favorite Transformer movie because it's more relatable to me. But I didn't want Bumblebee. I just thought these would be great for my Unicron.
Yeah, these are like, if you have a Unicron or if you have like a Metroplex or something, you get these little guys from the dollar store, crew it with them. Same as the little metal figs, like Charlie had one there too.
They're a little dusty, but there's Unicron right there next to Thunder King.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think they do real well with him.
Best experience at TFCon was somebody brought one in a stroller, so I was able to just like poke it. Yes, Pep, that's the internet.
Not this year because I'm only going for one day to the TFCon. I'm only going to be there for one day. I thank God that I get to go because I didn't want to miss it this year.
Oh God, Grimlock.
Next year, I'm planning on for sure getting a booth, and hopefully with my brother. I'm trying to convince him to draw more Transformer stuff. But I will be doing a draw for a Unicron. I have 2 of them, and I don't need 2 of them. And again, I like to do things around my community for charity. So
2?
I'm gonna, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go in on that.
So,
Anthony's like my precious.
I gotta think about that.
2021, I did the self-transforming Optimus Prime because I bought 2 of them. And I was actually really upset with Robeson, to be honest with you, because the first one I opened, there was significant amount of damage to his chest already. So I called and complained, and I actually spoke to, his name was John. That's all I'm going to give you. But he was, at the time, acting manager, and he spilled the beans about everything to me. And I mean everything. Who they were coming up with next, and I held it in for as long as I could, waiting for my replacement piece. And after 2 years of waiting, I was like, you know what, screw it. Should I ask? Should I tell everybody what I know, or shouldn't I? So I put it in the community, and they said tell, so I told. So I do know who they did and why they did them and how they did them. And I told this guy information like about one of the characters. If you're going to do him and he's not going to transform, then you better do them right and stick with the same era, because if you don't, it's not going to match. You can't have all these characters from different eras for these robots being $1,000, and here you are changing the eras when they don't match. You need to get them to communicate.
They just announced a Rise of the Beasts Optimus that doesn't transform, right?
No, he does not, and he has to be on that stand. That's something that I did not know about. I'll admit that. I did not know about him. That's something they just threw together real quick and put out there, right? That's just their basic model. They put all that crap on there to make him look like Optimus Prime. But the Bumblebee I didn't know about, and they changed it because I know they changed it because of what I said. I told them, you cannot have a Camaro if you're going to do a Megatron that doesn't transform and you're going to make him G1. You can't have Bumblebee, a Camaro, if you've got Optimus Prime G1, Megatron G1, and now you've got Bumblebee as a Camaro. How does that all fit in? It doesn't. So he listened to me on that. But the next one is going to be Soundwave or Megatron, right? So, and I told him. So Soundwave, I begged this guy. I begged him. Put an MP4 player in his chest. Make him play music. Make him play the Transformer videos on his chest. And I even told him, I said, we got the technology. Put a camera in that thing. Instead of us programming it, have it follow us and mimic us. Have a voice changer, anything, something different. We got the technology, do it. All it is programs.
For $1,000, they can easily fit all that into the character. Yeah, into that toy.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how Soundwave has a transformation scheme that's never really changed much because it's so basic. So I'm like, that's pretty easy to do as a Robosim thing.
Yes, it's very
always
easy.
The legs and the arms and the head, and that's it.
The only reason why they can't do Megatron is because he's a gun, and the laws nowadays about toys being guns It's, you know, like even Megatron as a tank, they've been fighting with that for years, where they don't want him to be a tank because it's a weapon of destruction, right? They don't want kids thinking, you know, this thing's gonna kill people, you know. But then you get Michael Bay that kills everything.
His name is Megatron, the leader of the Decepticons.
I'm going to go with that point because
he's not a good guy. It's fairly obvious.
If they're fighting with Megatron being a tank, the Bay movies, actually a couple of the characters are tanks or military vehicles.
In the first one, Devastator. Obviously, Starscream being the F-22.
The first
and then
in the first movie.
I'm sorry, Bill?
Yes. Blackout. The first Transformer we saw in the first movie was a military-grade attack helicopter.
Yeah. I was going to say, you're just making me think of Bob Budiansky, who named him. He told a story when he was at TFCon a few years back about how he was like, we're going to call the bad guy Megatron. They're like, you can't call somebody that sounds too much like Megaton. It's an atomic bomb thing. And then he had to go to them and be like, he's the bad guy. He's like really bad. That's why
supposed to be scary.
Like, oh yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah. It's very strange. You know what I'm surprised nobody's ever done as an alternate mode for Megatron? A turret, a gun emplacement. If they can't make him a pistol, maybe they can do that as a way to preserve the idea of what he's supposed to change into. You know? Like, doesn't even have to be a realistic one. You can make it a laser turret if you want, but like a fixed gun emplacement would be sort of like what he is, and then maybe other action figures could like get behind it as a way to use it.
I just have to call bullshit on the you can't have a toy be a gun shape. Because I don't know if you all have ever heard of airsoft or gel fire.
Oh yeah.
Nerf.
Yep. Our airsoft guns in America look identical to the gun that they're modeled after. Color, action, and weight. The only difference is that they fire plastic pellets instead of live ammunition.
Yep.
My son has a Warhawk sniper rifle.
That's going to be my next question. Are they aiming for kids? Which, yeah.
Whatever happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Hippies happened. Remember in the 80s, it was the hippies that were ruining cartoons. Yeah, they put so many regulations on, you know, who could die on screen or how they would die on screen, or I mean, it was just so many stupid regulations. They choked out a lot of the stories.
Toy Warp, are you familiar with how in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon Spider-Man couldn't punch anyone?
That's right.
So that's how he had all those creative fighting styles in that show.
I remember they said that he couldn't hurt a bird. I remember that. I remember reading that story.
I have my 90s Spider-Man in a punching people pose as a reference to that, because I'm like, well, this one's mine, so he can punch people.
Yeah.
This is the 90s cartoon one they did recently.
There was a
so like there, he can punch.
There was a cartoon, I don't recall what it was, but there was a cartoon where basically once the characters went into a fighting scene, the scene would change and it would be like something colorful, and then it would go back to like, you know, one character knocked out the other because they couldn't show the actual violence. I don't remember which cartoon it was. It may have only been on like one season at most, but that was kind of like their thing, where they didn't show the violent part of whatever interaction was happening between the characters.
Powerpuff Girls.
My mic just fell. Mic check. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're low volume, but we can hear you.
I gotta check on a fuse box. Give me a second.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So just a quick thing. I just wanted to show you guys this. Like, I got the most amazing. Well, I had the most amazing parents, but I have my mom still left. But since I got into this, she's been supporting me like she supports my brother, because my brother goes to every con that he can in Ontario. Like I said, he's an artist. He does mostly Marvel and DC, but my mom decided to make this guy after looking at one of my knockoff sound waves, and then she made Little Ravage.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
That's so
I've been seeing a lot of these for like like superhero characters and everything else like that. I'd never really seen a Transformer one. So I'm actually going to give this away to one of my subscribers. I just did a video about it. But, you know, like I said, I like to give back to the people as much as possible. Like, you know, again, I said this before, but the Transformers community, it doesn't matter if you don't like one part of it or not. It's still Transformers, and we're all together. And like, if I can give that to somebody else, why not, right? You know?
Oh yes.
So, okay, the folks here. Let me ask you guys something that have been to TFCon. Have you been to a BotCon, and are they pretty much the same thing?
No.
No.
I think the last BotCon I went to was about 10 years ago. And you know what it was mostly that I seen? Do you remember those old tin robots that spit freaking sparks? Yeah. It was mostly like that kind of stuff. And like Robotech. But this is going back 10 years, and I think it was in Chatham, like one of the smallest places in Ontario, right? So it was kind of a weird experience. And there was only like maybe 20 vendors. But it was mostly old stuff, like, and do you remember that robot that used to bring you a pop and stuff like that? You know, that kind of stuff. It was like really, like literally RobotCon, not Transformer or anything. You know, it was literally robots. So I don't know how it's evolved over the years, but yeah.
BotCons I've been to have been, you know, they first off they had a heavy Hasbro presence. I mean, the last one I went to, I've been to 3, and the last one I went to was in Orlando in 2010. And yeah, it wasn't anything like that. There was hundreds of vendors, and it was all mostly Transformers. That's weird. I'm just asking because I'm going to my first TFCon in Orlando, or in Orlando in October.
The only one I've ever been to was in Louisville, and it was, I would say, 90% Transformers. And the
BotCon in Louisville?
Yep.
I was there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 years ago, right before COVID?
Oh, no. This was back in 06.
It's a small world after all.
Yeah, apparently I met all of you guys at TFCon 2021, and I didn't even know.
But, yeah, it was, I would say, 90% Transformers, and then the other one was a heavy presence of Voltron.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Have you kind of felt that, I don't know if you go to other cons, but I do. I go to like a lot of different cons. I feel like no one is buying anything more. It's more of just an excuse to dress up. Like,
yes.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Like, because like my brother, I'm sorry for keep saying it, but he is a phenomenal artist. If you guys get a chance, check him out. It's Duke Comic Art, and he does do custom stuff. So if you got something in your head that you want, he can do it. He's actually working for Marvel right now, drawing the Avengers cards. He's drawing like the baseball size cards. He's doing a set to see if he can get in with them to continue drawing for them. But he has got this artwork that everybody praises, like, and no one buys it. No one. Like, he goes there, and it's frustrating for him because he gets praised so much for his artwork, and no one's buying anything. They all want stuff like to be honest, like this, you know, like or anime, you know, anything anime, you know.
I've noticed that. I've been to 2 like Comic-Con style things in the last like 2 months. Both of them had a very heavy anime presence. There was nothing old there. Either one, there was nothing old.
Yeah, and I even got, not in an argument, but in a little bit of a dispute with somebody because I was wearing my Optimus Prime costume. And they were wearing some anime that I did not recognize whatsoever. And they looked at me and they said, "What are you supposed to be?" And I looked at them and I said, "I'm Optimus Prime." And they're like, "Oh, well, that's a cartoon. That's not anime." And I'm like, "What's anime to you?" And they said, oh, like Robotech, Akira, One Punch Man. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, did you just say Robotech? I said, you do know that the same person that made those toys made Transformers, right? You know they're connected, right? It's the same dude. Like, how is Transformers not anime? How is it just labeled as a cartoon?
And what is the problem of not being anime? It's a Comic-Con style. You were at like a Comic-Con style thing, right?
Yes.
Not an anime thing?
No, it was actually in Chatham. I forget what it was called, but it was a con, like for Comic-Cons, right? They had some different name for it, but it was a con. Like, and I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I could point out 20 people that are dressed up and I know who they are, but I don't even know what you are. Like you look like what are those cats called there? Hello Kitty. You look like a Hello Kitty character that has no animation to you whatsoever. And here I am with an Optimus Prime gun in a full costume with a talking helmet. Like,
if I was wearing an Optimus Prime helmet and somebody asked me who I was supposed to be, I might have punched him. So there's that.
There's an air five for you right there, man.
I have a quick question. Hold on one moment. Quick question. In terms of the last maybe 2 years after the pandemic lockdowns, has there been more con conventions, or is it more of an algorithm thing in terms of our devices listening? Because it's just in the last couple of years since we've started doing TFCon, then I started realizing like almost every little city and major city within the area now have all cons, and like I don't recall this happening.
So far, I've been to 4 cons in my Essex County area, which considers from like Chatham down to Windsor, LaSalle, all these places. I've done 4 already in 4 months. So they are mini cons. That's what I like to call them, mini cons.
Okay.
But they are big. Like, the vendors go all out, and I sit there and watch them, and it's so depressing because they're not selling anything. And after my second time going, I said, you know what? I'm not selling anything. I'm just going to take pictures with people because that's what they want, and I can make a video out of that. And guess what? It worked. Everybody I went up to and said, hey, would you like to take a picture with me? And I have this banner behind me for my YouTube channel, and you can go check it out. Whether you like Transformers or not, you have your costume on. You can see yourself forever on that video. And they all loved it and wanted it. And, like, I'm sitting there looking at my poor brother and, like, he's making $200 and he paid $200. You know what I mean? For a whole day of sitting there. You know,
there are a whole bunch of like cons in my area over the course of like early summer, and I know it's one company that runs them all, and they just kind of go up and down west coast of Florida and with a different in a different city and do it every weekend. Which somebody saw a money making opportunity, so they started doing these cons and they're banking off of them. So that's why there's more of them.
Again,
I think that's a bit of a disadvantage to the vendors, because in a sense, I mean, realistically, you think, well, most people are like, even for myself, when I was younger, it's like, oh, I want this item and I'm going to save up for it and get it in November. And I'm just focused on this specific month for that item. But, some other smaller event may come along, like multiple smaller events may come along and be like, I'm not interested in them. I've already got my focus on the main event or whatever my focus is. So then I'm thinking, well, if this one main company is spanning it out to multiple little events, knowing that people aren't really going to buy at the little events, it's kind of it's unfortunate for the vendors.
I had that happen to me because the guys that run TFCon, they run cons pretty regularly out of the same Mississauga location, right? And I used to do
all of Ontario, all of it. I actually know someone that is like second in command of all this stuff. The guy that runs TFCon just does the ones around that area, but my cousin's ex-wife Sandra actually goes and runs all of them. So it's all of Ontario, and she's working every weekend throughout the summer, no matter what.
But yeah, for my purposes, I would be in the Mississauga one. And there used to be a point where I'd go to every single one of them and sell things. And I actually got cleaned out over time. So last TFCon, I was like, I'm not doing any other ones until this TFCon because I won't have any stock to sell because I need to accumulate.
Well, the one thing that I did notice, because the first Comic Con I went to, was like, or actually I think Toy Con like a few years back before going to TFCon. The one thing with the smaller ones is they're kind of more geared, or in a sense, they're not all the same. Because that one was like anything comic, anything toys, so it's kind of a wider range of vendors. So then
it's always a couple wrestlers.
Yeah, like wrestlers, like it's just like almost anything you could think of 80s, as opposed to like, well, this is specifically for Transformers.
So Rhino was at my convention in my home city at the Kubota Club. Like Rhino the wrestler was there, and I just looked at this guy and I'm like sitting there thinking, okay, you haven't really done anything in a long time, and you're acting like you are the most important person in this place, which you should be grateful that you're even there, and you shouldn't be snooty with anybody. And he was constantly like, I don't get it. Like, he was there, but he wasn't there. You know what I mean? He was like always doing this and talking to the hot girl beside him that obviously was just there to make him happy. Like, she was hired just to be next to the guy. You know what I mean?
I think if you ran into a case like that, I think that might be the exception to the rule, because everybody, all the has-been celebrities that I have ran into at these cons have been just super nice, super friendly. They just I met Flash Gordon at one of them, and dude was just freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. I think maybe you just ran into an anomaly.
Yeah, and maybe it was because of the way I look. Because like you probably all noticed, I don't have my front teeth. Last year, I slipped and fell, and they all broke. And I'm just waiting on getting my mouth fixed to get them put back, so I can get some partials. But maybe he thought, I was kind of like a weirdo or something. But I asked him. I said, "Would you like to come take a picture with me?" And because I had 3 people in costume that day, I was like, "Would you like to come take a picture with us?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, sure." But then he went like this to his phone. Like, I wasn't even done talking to him. You just shut me out, like, So I was like, wow, okay, never mind then, dude. You do your thing. But like anybody that approached him, if they didn't have cash in their hand, he wasn't speaking. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, what's going on?
I mean, that is their bread and butter. When I went to the con where I just recently, where I met Stan Bush and Paul Eiding, I think it was to get my picture with Paul and to have him sign the 2 things that I had him sign was $100. And then Stan Bush was like another 30 or 40 to have him sign the poster.
So I have this Rhinox, and it's the first actual Beast Force Transformer that I bought, and I bought it at my local comic book shop for $30, but it's signed by somebody, and it's got someone else's name, and I can't read the writing. I've tried a million times, but I don't know who signed this thing, and I'm I'm always asking people, should I sell it or should I open it? Should I sell it or should I open it? Should I sell it or open it? And I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it.
You would be passing the burden on to me, because I feel like
it's the same way.
Yeah.
Evidently, whoever I got it from online was at a convention where they bought the Metroplex, and it was the only thing that they could have for this artist to sign. And it took me forever to figure out who the artist was, and I finally did. And he's a comic book artist. He works for Marvel, but he's never done anything in Transformers whatsoever. But his autograph is right there across the top of my Metroplex box.
Wow.
Well, I was a tattoo artist for 25 years. You want me to sign some skin?
Oh, that would be tough, because I always unbox figures, but I've never had a figure that's autographed. Like, I had a chance to buy an autographed figure at one point, and I didn't want to, because I'm like, I don't want the burden of having to figure out if I'm going to open it like I usually do or not.
That's how I feel. I'm like, do I or don't I? Do I or don't I? But getting back to the cons and what I've seen, this pattern of change and everything, this is why I decided, I was going to actually, go to TFCon and actually do Transformer tattoos, like just the symbols, just charge a flat rate for everybody, But then, like, I'm sitting there thinking, I went to a con and there's a guy already doing tattoos, and he's not doing so well. So I scratched that idea. So I came up with this idea.
Getting Peter Cullen's signature across the stripe is a good idea, yeah.
And then Frank Welker's. And then Paul Eddings.
Lovely.
Shiba Kobe says, ooh, nice. Hey, Shiba Kobe.
So I decided to do this. I don't know if you guys can see the sticker.
Bill has his signed as well.
Yeah, I don't got nothing signed. I have some books that I have signed, but they're way in another room.
I have records I have signed by artists from back in the day, but nothing Transformers.
So what I've done is I gone the sticker and T-shirt route, because guess what? Think about it. Every time you go to a con, you know what's selling? Stickers and T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to make my own T-shirts with my own funny things. Like, this is Blaster, and he says, "What's your jam, man?" You know what I mean? And I got lots more, and this has got to be my favorite. There we go. Me smarter than you. And it's Grimlock, right? Like, and then I got, some of you guys might appreciate this one. It's hard to see because the sticker turned out really bad. But it's, guns don't kill people, Megatron does, and it's his gun. So, I try to make it funny, but to match each character.
Oh, nice.
That's nice, yeah. But, and guess what? I've sold like 20 of them already, and it's to local people, but they love them. They love that. Like, especially the girls, they love the Optimus Prime one. It's got Optimus Prime laying down, and it says, "What gets your motor running?" And they just love it, man. They love it. The girls want it. And I'm like, shit, I only got large, extra large, and double extra large. And they always want the small and mediums. And I don't have them, but I'll be better prepared for next year, Like, that's what I'm hoping
clinch a
for.
belt around the waist, turn it into a dress.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing a girl in a double extra large T-shirt, and that's all. Especially if it's Optimus Prime or, RC. Like my RC one, it says, I don't think I can get at it right now. It's all packed away, but the RC one, she's looking good, and it says, "Don't burn out your optics." So,
It should say my optics are up here.
I'm sensing
that would be a good one. That would be a good one.
I'm sensing
I expect royalties.
RC fetish with you.
What's that?
I expect royalties.
I'm sensing a little bit of an RC fetish with you.
Oh dear.
Well, since she was the first only female Autobot that I knew of for 25 years, I kind of liked that, because I always watched, like, from the first 2 years of the cartoon, it was always like, where's the girls? There's got to be a girl.
Ooh.
And what's funny is I'm actually turning my Honda Navi into RC. I just bought the license plate that says RC. So,
you know what? Like what Mr. Magnus has there, that's a tattoo. Like that is fully a tattoo.
Yep.
Nice.
I still kind of wish they didn't make her a motorcycle, though, to be honest. I liked her as the car, the Cybertronian car.
They did the most recent TV show, Earthspark. It depicts her as changing into like a classic pink Cadillac type vehicle, like from the 50s, and that's a really good alternate mode for her. It's like a little bit of a little kind of like a Barbie convertible type thing, but like realistic, like a real vehicle.
That is what we get They gotta do something better than this, guys.
I like
this
that
is
figure.
what I'm talking about with Hasbro. I'd really like to do just a discussion on that, to be honest with you, about how cheap these are made for the prices that we pay. Like, you're having me pay before COVID masterpiece prices for your biggest line. You know what I mean? And I'm not getting no die cast, not one piece of it.
That's a simple fix to that. Don't buy the stuff.
Well,
let the market decide, and then they'll be realizing the market's deciding it, and they'll make better quality stuff.
Well, like I said, I just got into Beast Wars, so I'd never had any of the Beast Wars stuff. Like I said, I just bought Rhinox for the first time about a month ago. So this is my first time buying anything Beast Wars, and I decided I'm going to buy the first wave that came out for this movie. But that's all I'm going to buy. Unless they come out with some crazy third-party masterpiece, then I might buy it. But until then, I'm kind of disappointed that all this stuff is model kits. Have you noticed that? Everything is a model kit now, and nothing transforms. It's kind of like, what's going on? You know? Oh, that's cool.
Makes me glad I don't collect the new stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little transformation gif.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's a good choice for an Earthald mode, I think. That's all.
If it's Cadillac, it's classy.
Yes. I just want to say, guys, I really appreciate you guys inviting me to this. Like, I don't have anyone in my city whatsoever to talk to about Transformers. I don't have any collectors here at all. And let alone if I even say Optimus Prime, half the people are like, who's that? So, you know. I'm from Windsor, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Frank, did you pick up the...
What's that?
Oh, was the Rhinox you pick up that mainline Rise of the Beast one, the one that's more brown?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you like it?
I haven't opened it, right?
Oh, was that the one that you said Stein?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, I haven't got that Rhinox yet, but I ordered the one on Hasbro Pulse.
The one that's more silver, that's the flip flop. It's more silver with less brown.
Yeah.
The Studio series.
Yeah.
But I like both of the Rhinoxes.
I
like
haven't
the
got my
mainline
hands on him
Eraser
yet.
and the Studio Cheetor.
So I got him.
Battle Trap.
Eraser.
Yep.
This Optimus Prime, which I really don't like.
Yeah, the Studio Series one that's coming out is going to be way better. We've seen like pictures and things, and it's in some people's hands already.
This Cheetor, which I absolutely hate.
Really? I
do not like him whatsoever. Every time I transform him, stuff falls off.
Oh, interesting.
Huh.
I don't have any of these guys except the RC, so it's all like news to me.
Yeah, I didn't have problems with my Cheetor, so must be a...
Okay, so here's my prime example right now. Look, I just picked him up, and this fell off.
Wow.
Where's his
Isn't it
hand?
supposed to be swappable?
Where's his arm? It is, but it just fell off. I just picked him up, you know? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. And then I got...
The solution to that's typically floor polish.
Yeah. And then I got him.
Oh, yeah, mainline... Studio Bumblebee.
And I'm like, watching the movie and looking at the size comparison, and I've already had these toys and did reviews on them, and I'm like, okay, this is disappointing because the size proportions are all wrong. Every single bit of it's wrong. So, yeah, that's pretty much all the ones I got, except for like these little, I don't know what you want to call these things. I forget, but someone gave them to me.
Gun ones? Oh, the Battle Masters.
Yeah, like, and these are like the things I've ever seen. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, they're not even in the movie.
I'm just laughing because Riz Hierolati, you look like you look like a New York City mafioso.
I got my Adidas and I look so nice. because we're supposed to be talking like what's wrong with everything wrong about the movie, and we only like touch upon it for a little bit, and then we went from TFCon, and then whatever you guys talking now.
Well, because
That's how we
TFCon.
freestyle.
That's how we freestyle, and TFCon coming in Toronto in a couple of weeks, and we're going to be there. So little promo.
I'm sorry, but like I honestly didn't think I was going to go. I did everything I could to prepare for it, but financially things went different ways, and I didn't get to go. And then I got this opportunity to go. So I'm sorry. I'm just really excited about it because I love that atmosphere so much.
Yeah, it's understandable.
No worries, man. We're happy for you to be there and meet with us and have a good time, man.
Yeah, and to reconnect. As funny as it is, like that we've already met you, but definitely, after the stream, we're gonna, go over the details and figure out what we're doing.
One second. Talk among yourself, but I'm gonna make some noise. Hey, James, it's Mike. Open the gate, please. All right, have a good night.
I'm getting ready because what I do is I'm tearing down these shelves so I can figure out what I'm gonna sell at TFCon. The first step is to take everything down. The dusting is a bonus, though. Yeah,
See, I always buy. I never sell. I never ever sell, but I would be willing to sell that Rhinox because it's got someone else's name on it, and when I've gotten stuff signed before. I'm also a big horror, I love horror movies and stuff like that. So I got a lot of signatures from actors that played horror characters. And, when I ask them not to sign my name, they kind of get a little bit bent out of shape because they think I'm going to go sell it on eBay or something. But I'm not. I just don't want my name on it. I just want their name on it. You know what I mean? And this toy has someone else's name on it. And it's like, every time I look at it, it's like, that's not my name, and it shouldn't have any name. And it's signed by somebody, and I can't even read who it's signed by. Like, do I open it? Do I get rid of it? Do I sell it? I don't know what to do with the damn thing.
Maybe you should auction it.
I get an idea for you. You ready?
Yep.
You're gonna give me that, and you're also gonna give me the Unicron, and then your problem's all solved.
Okay, I can't give you the Unicron because that's gonna go for charity. Like I got.
I'm a charity case, trust me.
No, I gotta make money because our city is dying right now because we have so many problems with the homeless. Like from Toronto to Windsor, they're all being sent here. Whether it's London, Brampton, anything, they're all being sent to Windsor.
Man.
And I know, but the problem is that the food banks that were stocked have nothing in them. They're living week to week on trying to get donations, and it's just getting really bad. So, like I said, in 2021, I raised a lot of money for this charity, and it was a local church. And I'll be the first one to admit I believe in God, but I don't go to church. Now, I gave these people all the money that I made from
Hold on, I'm gonna stop you there for a second. Hold on, I'm gonna stop you. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm gonna stop you. Do you have a website that does donations or anything like that?
No. Me and my brother have always done donations. Like I was a tattoo artist for a long time, and I always did the toy drives, and people would just drop off all the toys and whatever money I made extra that I could afford to give away at the end of the week, I would just throw that money on top of it. Just because there's just so much hard times going on in my city for the last 10 years. So when I was doing that, I didn't have anybody anybody at all that would sponsor me because I don't look like the type of person that would do charity.
Why don't you do a quick plug so if anybody in Windsor can meet up with you or do some donations or try to help you out, here's a great time for you to give yourself a little plug or some your email address or something like that. So it is an important subject that you're saying, and I don't want to dismiss that, right? So here's your opportunity to do it, man.
Well, like I said, I'm going to do it next year, though, not this year. This year's kind of already passed. And like I said, when I sold the tickets at 2021 for the self-transforming Optimus Prime, when I went to the con, everybody was buying the tickets. They all wanted them, which was great because it gave me more money. Here in my city, even if I went to a con and said, hey, I'm getting rid of this, they wouldn't even know who he is. So that's why I'm going to wait till next year to do it.
Right.
Because more people are going to know, right? And plus, not only that, they're going to think in their heads as well, okay, this toy has been out for this long, so it has increased in value, so it is worth that $5 or 20 for 5 tickets to buy into it and maybe, win it or be a part of the charity, period, right? So I'm just going to wait till next year for that kind of stuff.
It was funny you mentioned the toy drives, because back in the day, when Toys for Tots didn't require you to drop off toys that were new in the box, people used to throw just all sorts of old toys in those bins. And I would I started going around town and just picking out the old toys that I wanted out of the bins and just throwing in something else until I got the bright idea. I met someone that was working for them, and I went to their headquarters and did the volunteering. And I cleaned those people out of old toys. I just buy something new in the box and just throw it, just throw it at them, and then just take all the old toys home with me. That's how I acquired a lot of my Tonka stuff.
Well, the funny part is you just mentioned there, right, about these toy drives. They want new toy packaging and all that kind of stuff, right? The funny part is we have this thing called Value Village, right? It's a really huge thrift shop, right? And that's a really good place to find some vintage G1 Transformers, right? I just gave a little secret there. But, the funny thing is, instead of giving it to Value Village, no offense to them, why can't they still take these unwrapped or open packaged toys and still give it to the kids? Because at the end of the day, who cares? Right? They're going to play with it. They're not going to keep it in the package like me, right?
The way I look at it is this: the internet has made everybody paranoid. Remember the 5-second rule? No one does the 5-second rule anymore because they're so paranoid that if it fell for even a second, they're going to die. You know what I mean?
But I got the 1 minute rule. Give me a minute, and I'll be there and I'll eat it. No worries about it. Right, so.
It's still good. It's still good.
Exactly.
Well, mine's only a 2-second rule. I got a 100 pit bull.
Right. Just put it in the microwave. It kills everything. Okay, I'm driving just to let you guys know, right?
Really?
So maybe
if you were aware of that.
Sorry, he's a little bit dusty, but maybe you guys can help me out with this because I completely forget who this is. Who made this guy? Who made this guy? This is not Masterpiece. I know that.
Is it not?
I don't think it is.
Who, me? Oh, that guy?
Yeah.
So that's a Megatron, and it's not a Masterpiece.
I don't think it's a Masterpiece. It's a third party.
That Decepticon symbol on his chest, is that painted on, or is that like a sticker somebody added? Because if it's third
if you look closely, if you look real close at that sticker, okay, can you see? It's not even a symbol. It's just a blob.
Oh, clever. Okay, so that's third party for sure.
Yeah.
So, I've been trying to figure out forever who this guy is since I've gotten him. I don't know who he is. I really don't.
Try to do take a picture of it and throw it into Google Image, and it will try to kind of decipher.
I actually have. And nothing comes up except for the Masterpiece Megatron. That's what comes up every time.
Is there a serial number on it?
Post it in the Facebook Transformer groups and ask. They'll know.
Yeah.
Oh, I have been. Again, I've been all over those. And that's another thing I want to bring up. What do you guys think about this? You notice that the Facebook groups have a live chat, right? Okay, so don't you think YouTube would be a lot better if our channels could have a live chat for our people that have subscribed to us, where they can go in at any time and it's always open, and then you can interact with them whenever you choose and feel like it?
I mean, yeah, it does kind of exist. It's called Discord.
See, I don't know nothing about that stuff. Like I said, I'm 3 months new, guys. I'm so new. Is Discord part of YouTube?
No.
Discord is MSN 2. Or no, it's AOL Instant Messaging 3.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So
and you're not wrong about that. But that's how every all the big channels. That's how they're giving their fans access to them like immediately. It's just through the discords.
So why not kill the middleman and just have YouTube do it then, right?
Maybe they will eventually, but yeah, for right now, all the big channels are using Discord. I got a Discord for the cruisers channel.
Well, here's the funny part is, right? Like, this is what this channel was kind of meant to be, like a somewhat Discord kind of idea. What you're saying, that we can invite a whole bunch of people to come on and talk about Transformers and all that, right? So we're kind of doing that to a certain degree with this channel.
Yeah. Whenever I talk about like leaks or inside information, it's because I picked it up on one of the Transformers Discord groups I'm in. So I'm plugged into a couple of them.
See, then I'm totally lost because I just go off of what I can get from the toy stores and what I hear from actual people that I've watched or read. Right, like I go on the forums, what is it there? TF. What is it called there? Sorry, guys. There's too much information in all at once for me for tonight. Yeah. I'm just excited, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're saying. Here's the problem. You ready?
Yeah.
You're a Gen Xer like us.
What's that? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
You're a Gen Xer like us. We invented it for the young kids.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out Discord. It really did.
Well, as soon as it clicked, I was not of the AOL generation. I was of the MSN generation. As soon as I figured out that Discord was just MSN again, I was like, oh, okay, this all makes sense now. It's this thing I used to be on just again. It just has a new name.
Yeah. That's why we have Anthony. Yeah. That's why we have Anthony on this channel. He's the young guy, right? So he keeps us in check.
So Freakenstein, an answer to your question, and I was going to say Professor D usually joins us in the group, but he is watching on YouTube. The answer to your question, it's Wei Zhang's MPP-36 Megatron.
Huh.
Thank you.
Write that down and Google image search it and see if it matches.
Yes. I'm actually looking for my other phone right now to do that.
Wasn't Wei Jiang the company that doesn't exist anymore because they flew too close to the sun and got raided by the Chinese authorities?
Yes, they're Black Jiang? Mamba now, I was told. They're part of Black Mamba. All those people went and worked for Black Mamba now.
Yeah,
they got Wayne Chang. They got Wayne Chung.
The story there was that one of the people in Wei Jiang went to one of the designers of movie masterpiece Optimus and presented him the Wei Jiang version as a gift, thinking that was cool, and then he got raided immediately afterwards. So that's why people were like, "Oh, they flew too close to the sun." They went to one of the guys and were like, "Look at what we did," and he was like, "Oh, really?"
Crazy.
I don't know. I can't verify that. That's just chatter.
That's your story, Anthony, and just stick to it. Hey, can I give you my interpretation of the movie since I'm on now?
Yeah.
Okay, so for me...
Are you going to be a big hater about it?
Yeah.
It's titled Everything Wrong with the Movie.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm pretending to be you. I'm old! It's not G1! It's bad!
Oh, Lord. All right. Put down the stick and walk away for a bit, okay?
Then I randomly have a stick on my porch. That's for walk. I use it for walking sometimes.
Even with your stick, my money's on our.
Does it transform?
Not that I know of.
Well, you can transform it once, but you can't transform it back.
I'm going to transform it into an ass whooping.
That's right.
Triple changer.
Just don't rub it too hard, that's all. Alright, so here's my personal opinion about the movie. I liked it. I'm not gonna say it was completely terrible, but it was a remake of Dark Side of the Moon.
I'd say it was more of a remake of Revenge of the Fallen.
Nope, it was more of the Dark Side of the Moon. Your how do I say this? Your beast machines there were basically your wreckers. Once again, they're fighting for a MacGuffin that's gonna help bring a planet eater to Earth, just like what they tried to do in Dark Side of the Moon, trying to bring Cybertron to Earth. They're fighting over this long piece of stick, which is called a key, which is really a pillar. That they got to destroy in order for this other planet, Unicron, that doesn't come to Earth and destroy it. At the same time, too, you have these humans. They're going after the key or the pillar, just like in Dark Side of the Moon. You also have what's it called? Scourge for me was half Lockdown, half Sentinel. You had, like I said, it was just I could go on and on and on. There's so many relatable moments with Dark Side of the Moon. Even Optimus Prime. Once again, he wants to kill those Decepticons. So Murder Prime got introduced one more time.
Yeah.
Give me your face.
Sure. And what else? Like I'm just trying to make the comparison. Like the movie, like the storyline and everything and so forth, is pretty similar. Then not just only that, even with G.I. Joe, right? You had like this is the thing that made me laugh the most, is that you had like Sector 7 already in part 1. And now you're telling me you have this secret service called G.I. Joe and they know what's going on? Like, no offense, but if the planet was coming near its end there, you're telling me G.I. Joe, like, that was the perfect time for humans to get involved and go after the Decepticons to save their planets.
Yeah.
Right?
And for me, G.I. Joe, okay, this is a toy that my dad grew up playing with that was this big.
So did I.
And like, honestly, it was a doll. And for me to mix G.I. Joe and Transformers, it's too far apart. You know what I mean? Like, G.I. Joe's way before Transformers ever even existed. I just don't agree with it. Yeah,
there are crossovers in the comic book, right? In case
many of them,
not aware,
it's very common. They have a lot of material to potentially draw from.
Yeah, they do.
But
and you know
My
what?
Little Pony and Transformers, guys, come on.
Oh God,
Hasbro product. Hasbro crosses all their products.
Exactly.
But
right?
they just bought Mattel. What are we going to see now? Think about that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they just bought Mattel. Hasbro bought Mattel. Now we're going to see the dinky cars of everything. Of everything.
Toyworks about to make a video.
I know it. Man.
You figure I would have heard about that.
Are the power of Grayskull.
I'm Googling, did Hasbro buy Mattel?
Yeah, Google that shit.
Does this mean He-Man's going to be like a headmaster to one of the Autobots now?
Sure he is. So now I'm going to bring.
Could you imagine Wildor or any of those characters with the Transformers?
Yeah, that would be a crossover figure he could do without having to pay royalties to someone then. Assuming he actually did buy Mattel.
Anthony, I need an answer.
Ravage.
It says back in 2017 they made a takeover offer, Hasbro, but I don't say anything about that going through.
I was just told
brand.
Yeah, I was just told by some of the people that do the cons that's what was going around the whole con is that they just bought it. So.
Oh, okay. No, you know what it is? They didn't. Rivals Mattel and Hasbro have, for the first time, entered into a multi-year licensing agreement to create co-branded toys and games.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're just partnering for some stuff.
But can you imagine all the dinky cars we're going to get now, though? Like,
I mean...
Hey, I'm still talking about the movie.
Go on. Go on. By the way, I agree with you that it was very much a Bay plot again. But my hot take is it was a Bay plot done well, as opposed to the usual Bay plots.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bay DNA still stuck in this, and
or BNA.
Well, they had to, but here's the thing, right? It's like the one thing that they did do is that they gave Bumblebee a bit of a rest, which I was pretty happy about.
Yeah.
What they should have did, they should have took a little bit more from Transformer Prime, let's just say, because when they killed B there and how he got revived with Energon, that actually they took that plot from Transformer Prime. What they should have did with Mirage, instead of calling him Mirage, I would have called him Smokescreen, because he played a good character like Smokescreen from Transformer Prime. That's just
I agree with that.
right.
That's
The
funny.
other thing as well too with Air Razor, how they killed her, right? Are you telling me Scourge didn't have more than one of those bullets or things that to like
No, he only had
go
one.
into that? Because Scourge at the very beginning looked really badass. He looked like he just killed everybody, and especially when he killed Bumblebee. But yet, all he had to do is pull out that laser gun or whatever you want to call it, or blaster, and just shoot up everybody with that specific device that made you into a bad guy after.
Don't you?
And wouldn't that affect anything that was electronic?
Unicron only have one shot.
Sorry?
Yep. The Harbingers of Unicron only have one shot. Galvatron wasted it on Starscream. Scourge wasted it on Air Razor.
Yeah, but
that is true.
Wait a minute, that can't be right, because in the movie they explain that that's how they got the other two bad guys, is because he shot them and made them
right.
into
So
that.
you're telling me he couldn't do that? Now that kind of reminds me of a Sentinel Prime weapon. Remember what happened to Ironhide and Dark Side of the Moon?
Cosmic Rust, yeah.
Cosmic Rust,
There you go. Right. So this is why I'm saying that Scourge for me was like he's a character of Sentinel Prime and Lockdown, right? What I wish they did with Scourge. This is what I really wish they did. Okay, hear me out. When Optimus Prime basically was just about to destroy him, and his helmet is off his face now, right? So now you can see his face and everything. And just before he was about to, to kill him there, right? I wish he said, "Prime, I'll see you later," meaning that could have been Megatron. Because you got to remember, at the beginning of the movie, they were in the future, and they came back in the past.
They should have just did this to him.
Vaguely hinted.
Sorry?
They should have just did this. That's what they should have done with that character right away.
I can't see because I'm driving.
I pulled off his head because it's so easy to pull off. Like,
yeah, but the whole point,
I wanted to see a transformer that transformed into a beast, not this whatever it is. I don't even know what it is.
Wow, there was a Beast Wars Scourge who changed into a giant locust, so maybe they could have done that.
Anything would have been better. You should have made those bad guys, if they were part of that Beast Wars era, you should have made at least 3 of them turn into animals, and maybe had one that turned into something that was a truck or a plane or whatever, right? But what did you guys feel about... Yeah. What did you guys feel about how Ron Perlman's Optimus Primal was more of an Optimus Prime than an Optimus Prime ever has been in any movie?
Yeah, I liked how because they made it seem like there was going to be a rivalry in the ads, and there wasn't in the movie, and I liked that because I'm like, yeah, Optimus Primal's not the original ones didn't usually want to go to war unless he had to, so them immediately being like, yeah, no, let's not fight, let's come with us to our human village and let's talk it out. I was like, okay, yeah, that's more in character than I was expecting of him.
But I found that he was more of an Optimus, original G1 Optimus Prime in that movie than any of the Bay movies of Optimus Prime that we've seen. Yeah, I honestly got that feeling of Optimus Primal was what I've been waiting for out of Optimus Prime.
I found him more like Ultra Magnus, if anything.
I could see that too.
Yeah, I can see that too. Now that you say that, yeah, I can see that too. I can definitely see that too.
No, which version of Ultra Magnus? Because certain storylines depict him a bit different.
Well,
definitely not the Netflix one.
Yep.
No. It was more the G1 if you want to add a little bit of Transformer Prime in there, right? But otherwise, I found them to be more of Ultra Magnus.
Well, I mean, funny you say that because in G1, there's two personalities of Ultra Magnus. The movie version is the Ultra Magnus that we like. The season 3 version, he's kind of more laid back. Rebirth, he's just a complete puppy behind Optimus. But then in the Prime version, like, he's Wrecker Magnus. Don't mess with me.
Yeah.
Michael Ironside, just being his usual self.
Yeah.
Did Michael Ironside voice him at some point?
Yeah, didn't he do it
in
Prime?
Transformer Prime.
Okay. I'm not very familiar with Prime.
What do you guys think about this idea? Do you think Hasbro should make an app where you can buy each individual voice that you can use for text-to-speech for your videos? Don't you think they would make a lot more money selling toys that if you can make a stop animation or just use the voice period for your characters while you're doing videos or whatever?
There is a Optimus text-to-speech on TikTok. I've seen people doing stuff with it.
I've seen it too, but I want Peter Cullen.
I'm
You
sure.
got enough footage. You got enough footage to go back and take every word that he's ever said and make it so that
There's gotta
same with
be-
anybody else that died.
There's got to be
I'm
something
sure-
that people are using because Artistan, the guy that's redoing the deleted scenes out of the '86 movie, he has got some kind of way where he's added in voices from Wheeljack and Teletran 1.
Yeah, that's Video Duck, I think it's called. I use that too. I've gotten a few of the Transformers voices off of there, but they do not pronounce things correctly. Like
You're right.
dough. I asked him to say pizza dough, and it said pizza dough.
Pizza
I'm sure
dough.
Chat GPT there is going to come up with something very shortly.
Oh yeah. The AI is gonna solve that.
Yeah, it's taking over the world, man. You got to remember that.
Well, that's when I go homesteading and play with my Transformers.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
What else was I going to say about the movie?
I don't even call it Chat GTP. I call it Skynet.
It is.
Ah, yeah, you got it. You got it.
Did any of you guys ever read from a few years ago that Terminator versus Transformer crossover comic?
It was done. Yeah, it was done as well as it could be because I'm a huge Terminator fan too. It was done as well as it could be, I guess.
I didn't get to read it, but I've seen it on the shelf.
Yeah. I read it. I was like, yeah, it was fine. I didn't have any complaints. It also didn't wow me, but yeah, I was like, it happened. It existed.
Yeah.
What I'd like to get my hands on, and I wish Hasbro would just do this right off the bat. So after the 80s cartoon, they kept it going in Japan, in China, and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I never got my hands on the English version. And I still have the version that's not in English. And I so want to watch them in English. I look everywhere all the time for them, and I can't find them anywhere, man. They need to just put that out there on YouTube in English like they did with all the other Transformer stuff that they did.
Hasbro Pulse might be Hasbro Pulse's channel might be doing that because they're seriously uploading a whole bunch of the different. I think they started off with G1, but they're uploading a whole bunch of different.
Well, they got a whole bunch of stuff on there now. I've been watching a whole bunch of stuff, but I've been also using Tubi. They got a lot of stuff on there too.
Yep.
But
yeah. So those Japanese shows you're referencing, I have them on DVD. They came out around like 2011, 2012 by Shout Factory. They were called the Japanese Trilogy. So they are out there on disc somewhere. And they weren't expensive when they came out. I don't know what they go for now. They were like not terribly pricey when they came out.
Are yours in English?
Yes.
Mine are
not. Well, okay.
They're not. There's not even subtitles on mine, man. I'm so confused, but I still watch it.
I was going to say, I wanted to clarify. The Shout Factory ones, they didn't include the very bad English dub they did in Singapore. They're just subtitles only, just no English language.
All the information I got from those, I had to read about because I don't speak the language, and it's like, oh, come on, man. This is too much literature for what I want to know. Just give me the simple answer or give me English.
Yeah, your version is based off the VHS copies. One of our friends, like back in school, he used to go to Chinatown, and this would have been around 1989, I believe, or 90. And he would get the VHS copies and bring them back for us to watch. So like you're watching it in a foreign language, no subtitles whatsoever. But I mean, you understand what's happening, and just looking at the quality of and the detail that they put into the cartoon and animation, you're like, ooh, this is better than
wasn't the continuation called Master Force or something?
One of them. First there was
three of them.
I got the sets here. First there was Headmasters. You can see Six-Shot and Chrome Dome on the cover because they were in that show. Then there was Master Force. There's Overlord fighting Jinrai. And then there's Victory with Starsaber and Death Saurus, who you might recognize from HasLab. There they were, 19 Canadian dollars in 2012 or whenever these came out. It's still got the price sticker on it.
And those are in English.
These are subtitled. The audio is Japanese. These are English subtitles. These were very bare bones releases, which is probably why they were so cheap. Also the audio video quality. It's not like VHS bad, but it's not as clean as the Shout Factory ones. Like, they obviously didn't charge a lot of money for these because they were so very basic.
Well, mine are VHS.
Yeah. So
there's like
Shout
20 of them.
Interesting bit of trivia. Shout Factory, the company that put this together, they said they wanted to put on the English dub, but Hasbro said no because it's so poorly done that they didn't want to let them do the English dub. That's why they're subtitles only.
But sometimes that's what makes these things awesome. Is how they screw up the language. It's like watching one of them old kung fu movies where they go like this and then they say a word. That's like the awesomest stuff ever.
Yeah, you said it was an old English dub that was done by people in Singapore?
Yeah. Omni Productions. They used to actually do the Godzilla dubs.
Two of my main guys on I assume they're guys that play Transformers Force to fight with me in my alliance are from Singapore. At least one of them normally runs alliance missions with me. I'll have to ask him if he ever watched those dubs.
I know there's English versions out there because Walmart was selling them. Okay, and I missed it because like I said. My city's got 2 Walmarts, and they never have anything. Like, nothing. If you ever look at my toy hunt videos, you look at my at my Walmart, and you're like, where are you at? Like a byway?
All Walmarts are freaking completely empty, man. Even Toys R Us as well, too.
And what's with Hasbro and these stupid exclusives to Target or Toys R Us only? Like, you got to stop doing that, man. You can't make them exclusives to one country to another. If you're going to give it to the United States, you got to give it to Canada. Yeah,
I know, but they want you to go online and order it there, man. I'm telling you.
But you can't even order half of them. Half of them, I got to get people from the States to buy them for me, and then they charge me double the price. Or I got to wait till eBay has one, and I'm paying 3 times the price.
You know what? GameStop sometimes has freaking Anthony gets some good ones from GameStop right on.
Yeah,
on their
GameStop's
website.
pretty good about pre-orders and things, and they get a lot of the exclusives. They get all the Gen Select stuff. They get the stuff that's Walgreens in America. Yeah.
This figure was going for $24 in the States.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's $2,400 here in Canada.
Yeah.
Guess how much I had to pay for it?
How much?
54.
Damn.
200 with the shipping.
Oh boy.
Falling too far off.
I'm sorry, but I love these guys, even though they're just cheaply kind of made. I still love them because the first Transformer episode I ever watched was episode 1.
Yeah.
With these guys. And I'm sorry. I have, what is it? You know, they have all those Seekers that are supposed to be looking like this, and they kind of don't because they don't have the point. I bought all those ones that did have the point. I forget the Terra Squadron, I think they're called, or something like that. Terran Squadron. There's a knockoff. Oh, Tetra, that. I bought all those. And I love them, except for one thing. Half of them broke when you were trying to transform them.
Talking about the Impossible Toys one?
Yeah.
That little third-party guys.
But I love them, man. Like I hung them up for years with fishing line. Before I even got Unicron. But now it's like, even though Unicron's not part of that, I want to put them with them. You know what I mean? Like all those Transformers that are from Cybertron, I would just want to just stick them right on Unicron, anywhere near him. But as for the movies go, guys, how can this happen? I don't know how Hasbro even let this happen. First of all, Unicron attacks Cybertron, right? And then in the Michael Bay movies, Earth is Unicron, and then now in this movie, Unicron's coming to Earth.
That's because they don't want to be in continuity with the Bay ones. They're back to doing their own thing.
Well, I hope so.
Hold on, but you gotta remember too, with that key, they introduced the whole multi-dimension universe stuff, right? So Michael Bay could be another universe, or versus what we saw the last 2 episodes of Transformer movies, right?
Well, I heard a rumor that's what they're going to do with Iron Man. They're going to bring him from another universe back into the.
Oh yeah. That's the secret. What's it called? Secret Wars.
Okay, do any of you guys remember Warlock from the X-Men series? That is like a robot that can change into anything.
Yep.
What, Adam Warlock?
Yeah, he's a Fanlox. No, like, he's talking about the character from New Mutants, and he would normally.
New Mutants. Yeah, he's all black.
Oh, okay.
No,
and he would hang out with the guy, and he would hang out with the guy who could learn languages really fast, and normally combine with him, serve as armor and weapons and whatnot.
Yeah, he turned into.
They were like this.
Yeah, I want to see a movie with that dude.
Did you ever read X-Men Necrozma? They reintroduce him really, really, really good badass way in that. Well, it's from like the 2000s.
Like I just kind of like got that feeling when Mirage threw that I don't even know his name. That's how much I don't care about the Rise of the Beast movie.
Noah.
The character. His name is Noah. When they threw Noah that thing and it got on his hand, it reminded me of that character, of that robot character, and I was like, man, they got to make a movie with this guy now. Like, it kind of reminded me of Guyver, too. You remember Guyver?
Yeah, a little bit.
The Guyver movies?
Yeah.
The alien freaking... Yeah, the alien armor that gave this guy superhuman strength and powers.
There's a long tradition of that in Japan. In fact, where are my Power Rangers at? It's one of those things too.
Actually, someone
he's even blue.
Someone did a video recently where they stuck a Guyver character on the window of their car, but in like the kick pose, and they were like driving, so it looks like the character is doing this long kick, like down the street and along the highway, because you just see the character just sticking on the window.
That'd be cool. Mm-hmm. But I've seen some pretty cool stickers myself. Like this guy in my city's got The Walking Dead all over his car, but at the bottom, it's like the door's been ripped off, and he's there, and it's a zombie body. It looks so sick. And he's just driving around. The top half is normal, but when you look at the side panel, it looks like he's a zombie, while I'm down going.
Nice.
I'm like I said, I'm trying to make my little Honda Navi look like RC. I just put on Autobot logos, and now I have the license plate coming. So,
Yeah, I wanted to get a license plate that said Cliff Jumper for my Cliff Jumper, but because I had the vintage tags on it, there's no way to personalize the vintage tags. So
yeah. They got all those symbols on the Ontario one now, where you can pick all these symbols in sports teams. And I'm like, where's my Autobots symbol? Or my Decepticon symbol? We need to have that stuff. Like, I don't need a Maple Leafs. I need an Autobot.
Right.
That would be cool.
Well, you can buy those stick-on emblems that you can.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, that's what I did. But they're pretty big, so I don't think it would fit on the license plate. And I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to have anything on there but the plate.
Listen, man, that will last longer than the plate. The way they're making our Ontario plates fade so quickly. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get the blue plates? We got the blue plates here, man.
No.
And here, Michigan, right across the border, has blue plates. So every time we see blue plates, we're like, are they American? Wait a minute, that says Ontario, and it's the same color.
Yeah, I don't understand why they decided to go with the blue plates. I'm like, that's Michigan plates, and then they scrapped it
blue
along with these newer plates. Where like I have plates from like 30 years ago. They're still perfect, whereas like all the recent ones they peel in like a few years and they're useless.
Yeah. All right, guys, just give me a minute here. I gotta go in the other room for a second.
All right.
Wash your hands after.
I was gonna.
All
say,
right, yeah, the movie sucked, guys.
In my car in the winter. Hey!
I'm kidding. We're talking about everything bad about the movie, right? So I don't know.
There wasn't much to talk about.
Right.
Oh God, get me started now.
I don't know.
You've been inside me. Okay, that line wasn't supposed to be there.
Apparently, that was one of the ones that Pete Davidson just like ad-libbed while they were doing the voice work, and they just put in the movie. The bit with Mark where he mentions Mark Wahlberg was another one that was an ad-lib from Pete Davidson.
Huh.
Which one was that?
Oh, the one where he said that Mark was going to leave the Funky Bunch.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, that was an ad-lib from Pete Davidson, apparently.
What's really weird is I just watched Fast X, and Pete Davidson was in that too.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, just a short bit. I mean, he didn't have a very big part. He was in there for like 5 minutes, but I just thought, I was like, hey, wait a minute.
Was it like himself or somebody else?
It was somebody else.
Oh, nice.
He was like a computer hacker supplier. Like he supplied computer hacking stuff.
I guess it's his.
Yeah. I'm surprised at how much I liked him in that role, honestly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know who he was before the Transform movie.
Like I knew of him, but I never followed anything he did prior.
Yeah.
No, he was.
I think I saw one of his stand-ups one time on YouTube. He was like he did some pretty good stand-up comedy. So.
No, where he got his chops was on SNL. He's like one of the youngest cast members on there. Right, so that's where he basically started. He's like what, like
yeah, like I'm familiar with him from that, but like I don't watch Saturday Night Live, so I've never seen it.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, everybody, if you exist in the world, you have seen a Saturday Night Live sketch or 20 in your life. But I'm saying I don't watch it regularly.
Yeah.
You're not missing anything.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
That is funny anymore.
One thing I was impressed about the movie, actually. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah?
One thing I was
just
impressed
going to say,
about the
people
movie
have been saying SNL's... Shit.
Yeah,
never mind. Talk about the movie. I was just going to talk about SNL. You talk about the movie. Talk about it.
I know,
It's on topic. Go.
Total Warp is hard to get a word in, man. Go ahead.
Go.
No, I was being the car guy of the group. All the old cars that was on screen, there was only one car I saw that was out of place. One car, it was only a year off. All the rest of the cars were actually, 94 and older. I was really impressed with that part.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Which car was that? Which car was out of place? I'm trying to think now.
It was the one that Mirage stood up on when he was talking to Noah and his brother on the fire escape.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a 95 Dynasty. And the only reason that I caught it, because I'm a car nerd, is because when he crushed it, the front headlamps, when they crushed, they were fiberglass. And they weren't fiberglass until 95.
Wow, okay.
It was the same car from 94 to 95, but the older ones had a metal front headlight cover. Where when he crushed those, I saw it was fiberglass. Oh no, that's a 95.
Jesus. I admire your eye for that.
I would never pick that up, man. That's awesome on you.
Yeah.
Well, if they had
I feel like
car,
at that
they should
point
have Vanilla
nobody
Ice
involved
with
in the
his
production
5.0.
would have that knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably looked at the cars and thought, yeah, you know, it's the same. It's 94 because I think they were the same from like 93 to 96. They were about the same.
Yeah.
And
well, the funny part, I was looking at all the cars as well too, right? Just to make sure that they were all in that era.
So many cool cars.
Yeah, I was really impressed about that. Just like you, right? So, but I would never guess that Dynasty was a 95 because of the headlight. That's a good catch.
So like,
yeah, that was the only
James
one
Cameron,
I found.
Yeah, one at a
remember
time,
when James Cameron changed the sky in one shot in Titanic because somebody pointed out the stars were wrong? I think you should bother Stephen Capel Jr. When it comes out on Blu-ray, he'll edit it so it's not fiberglass coming out of it anymore.
You know, the weird part about that Titanic thing, I'm kind of I'm a historian on the Titanic, but the movie, he fixed that, right? He fixed the stars not being right. But what he didn't fix when they re-released it in, God, when was it? 2015, when they re-released it to theaters. There's a panning shot going over the ship as she's going out to sea, and the fourth smokestack smoking. Like, the fourth smokestack was a dummy. It's not supposed to be smoking. They fixed the stars, but they didn't fix that.
Wow, okay.
Weird.
Yeah, the fourth smokestack was just a dummy. It would release steam, but it wasn't like black billowing smoke like the first three, and they didn't fix it. But when we went back, I think it was last year, they did fix that.
Oh.
Interesting.
So obviously you were busy bothering James Cameron in the interim specifically to change that.
Who wouldn't give their
So now you
chance
bother
to shake
Steve
Michael
Jr.
Bay's head and say, "What were you thinking?"
Oh, yeah. There's
he wouldn't
two directors
care.
I want to meet. One of them I want to meet Michael Bay just to punch him in his face.
Hey, I said that about Tom Green.
That is somebody I never understood why or how he made it big. I
know, right?
Why?
Looking at his output, I don't think Tom Green understood why he was big either. I was just kind of rolling with it.
Yeah, probably.
Tom Green was famous.
A friend of mine made me watch this
why you
movie,
like
and
it.
after that, I was like, if he really did that to his parents, he needs a punch in the face.
Well, Tom Green goes way back when when he was
Exactly.
still in the hip
Check
hop
the OR
group,
spin.
Check the OR, and their group came from Ottawa, and they decided to come down to Toronto to shoot the videos. So that way it was,
not Toronto.
Gangster. Well, Jane and
Not
Finch.
Toronto. Thank you. Represent the hood,
Jane
Mike.
and
Come on.
Finch is within Toronto. So at
No.
basically they came down to the ghetto part of Toronto to shoot their video instead of shooting it in Ottawa.
Gina Finch, represent.
And from there he becomes a movie. From there, then he jumps into the movie world, and that's history for him.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I remembered him getting a start on MTV. Didn't he have like a show on MTV?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I remember him getting the start.
Yeah, after his hip hop career.
I remember the minister.
Yeah.
I remember the minister at the church I went to in high school, like where my dad went. The minister looked like Tom Green. It was hard to take. So here it is. He's giving these sermons, and you're saying this dude looks like Tom Green. Needless to say, we were very distracted.
Probably was.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
What's he been up to?
Was. I don't know.
It didn't.
How did he land Drew Barrymore?
Nah,
Right?
he did a little bit of a comeback with his old rap group.
Yeah.
You gotta check the OR. How you like me so far?
It wouldn't be out of the realm for an old rapper to be a reverend because or what the heck did you say? Saddam, not a reverend, but a
Reverend
pastor,
Minister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
not a
'cause
Methodist minister.
Yeah, didn't the guy that used to rap with Puff Daddy all the time, Mace? Didn't he end up becoming a minister or something?
Did he?
He did. What would Professor D say to this?
I can't believe how much Limp Bizkit is all over YouTube right now.
Oh,
what year is it?
I don't know. But Limp Bizkit is being talked about everywhere I look for some reason, in shorts and on videos, and I don't even type in Limp Bizkit. You know what I mean? It's just there. But I also hear.
Yeah, going back to one of your earlier comments in terms of the music in the movie, thinking of 94, 95, I mean, even though we loved that it was, a hip-hop themed movie, there was a lot of other music that was going on. Like, the
important music, too.
Biscuit, and around that time, there was a lot of skateboard, hip-hop, and rock crossovers. So I kind of missed that market.
Puddle Mud, all them groups, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was too early for them to have Optimus roll out to Rollin', Rollin', Rollin'. That song didn't exist yet.
Yeah, it didn't exist yet. Onyx existed.
Exactly. Onyx.
Yeah. That would have been awesome to hear in the movie, yeah.
Well, Public Enemy and
House of Pain.
House of Pain, but Public Enemy and now it's on the tip of my tongue. The rock remix that they did.
The Beastie Boys wrote then. Yeah.
They had Spin, you're referring to Anthrax with
that's
with
it, Anthrax. Yeah, Bring the Noise.
The only reason No Sleep Till Brooklyn wasn't in this movie was because Mario and Guardians of the Galaxy both used it already, so they were like, we're not going to do a third movie.
Yeah. I would have really liked to see each Transformer have their own style of music, to be honest. I think that would have really defined characters more and made more audience relate and be more accepting to the characters if they all had their own type of personality and type of music, right? Because back then you had all types of music. You had the new wavers, you had all the new heavy metal, you had all the new punk music, you had all the new rap music, you had all the new
music
R&B
is way
stuff.
too streamlined now, yeah.
Yeah. And like today I can't even listen to the radio because it just sounds like every time I hear a new song, it's only like 30 seconds. That's like an Oscar Mayer Wiener song. I don't get it. Like, what happened to the songs that made sense, made words? I guess that's why they're really saying this, and I can't even believe this, that now 90s music is taking over what has been there forever. 60s music was the best, but now everybody's saying the 90s music, whether it be rap, whether it be country, whether it be anything, said the most, and has the most passionate music.
I know some people in their 20s. They're fully into like 90s hip hop. Like they're tired of whatever their generation of music's gonna be, and they're on music now.
Like the 30-second songs, man. You know what I mean?
The hell was that, man?
I can't. I was saying when you said mumble rap, I said Tekashi 6ix9ine. I can't stand him.
Oh, that guy's back. He's all over YouTube too.
Why?
Ugh.
I don't know, man. I don't get it. I look at that guy and I'm like, he's clown shoes. Why does this guy make money? Yep. He's a poser little punk. There's nothing real about that dude.
That's why I'm glad my YouTube just sticks with my my synthwave. It doesn't show me anything but synthwave, and I'm very happy about that.
Well, I think it's more because I've only been really using YouTube for 3 months. Like, I'm telling you guys, I'm so noob with all this technology and everything. Like, I spent my life being a tattoo artist. I did not have time whatsoever to go and watch videos and fool around with computer stuff. The only computer stuff I ever did was print something off the printer. You know what I mean? That's about it. Okay? Other than that, I knew how to call people on my cell phone. I didn't even text them. I just called, because I'm so used to having a phone with a cord to it that I call people. And still to this day, I'd rather call somebody than text them. And people are like, "You're weird." No, you're weird.
That is weird.
It's called a telephone.
Don't call me. Text me.
Yeah, it's like
I hate talking on the phone.
But it's called a telephone. It's called a cell phone. It's still phone. It's not cell text. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about it.
I don't know, man.
Well, you're never getting my numbers. I hate
me
people
on my phone.
calling
It better
me.
be an emergency. Yeah.
Right?
This is probably the most I've talked
somebody
in a
better
year.
be dying. Well, no,
Because
somebody
they're
better
weird.
be dying, or it better be something that you need an answer to within the next 30 seconds. That's about it.
Well, like I said,
speaking
I'm
about
new to all
dialing in the
this.
next 30 seconds, I just got home, and I'm going in because I'm tired. So
Yeah, that's fair.
before I leave, I know. So before I leave, anybody watching, please subscribe, hit the notification button, leave all kinds of comments, so it helps
Ring
our
that bell.
algorithm.
Make sure you like the video. Go give that a thumbs up.
I think he just froze.
Yeah.
He was out, man. He wasn't kidding about being tired, huh?
Yeah, no, he hasn't frozen. He just passed out mid-sentence with his sitting.
Yep.
Like, just poke him. I'll get my stick, see if I can stick it through my phone to poke him through the internet. Wake up.
Well, I would say, yeah, it has been a good run. Another good stream once again. So it is 10:30 our time, so I think we should start wrapping up. Before we do, say, freaking Stein, thank you for joining us. Amazing. And
No, thank you guys. Thank you very much. Like I said, I got no one in my city to talk to about Transformers whatsoever. It's refreshing, and I really appreciate it.
Cool. And what do you have coming up that you'd like to promote to whoever's watching?
Really, I want everybody to promote each other and support each other. That's what my message. Like, whether you be starting out or you've been around for a long time, just share with everybody. Just be that type of person. That's all I really want to put out from my channel. I do it raw, so that you know that I make mistakes too, just like everybody else. I'm sure we all have done it, and it's okay. We're all here for each other.
Cool. And Toy Warp, what about you?
I am finally on the Toy Warp channel, getting around to that damn Days of Thunder video. I've been trying to get after that. I'm trying to get the time to make that video for like 2 months now. It's kind of embarrassing, actually. But I pulled the set out the other day and was missing parts, so I got now I got parts on order because I was like, crap. But they should be coming this week, so hopefully on the Toy Warp channel in the next week, the video will finally be out for the Days of Thunder Tycho playset. On the Cruisers channel, we just got in our in memory. If anybody's watching from the Cruisers channel, we just got in our pissed off in memory of Pissed Off Panda stickers, and they are absolutely free. You just have to DM me somehow and get an address, and I will get the stickers out to you.
Cool. Sedum Park Arts, what about for yourself?
I was actually but literally minutes before the show came on, I was actually shooting some photos of different Transformers I got. So like Beast Wars Neo or Second with their Kingdom / OG Beast War counterparts, and my Titans Returns, Ramhorn, and the Lion. That wasn't actually Blaster's Lions, but with the Legacy one, just stuff like that. And I've been meaning to shoot a bunch, have been writing down a lot of stuff to take photos of, but hadn't been taking said pictures. And I got some painting pictures I need to post up on the set, the one name that my name's on the screen as right now. So actually been shooting photos of work. It's just a matter of posting them, the post-processing. And then I was going to say for Frankenstein, since I know he said he's a tattoo artist and also into Transformers, if you want to talk shop, like just drawing, painting, tattoo stuff, I mean, I'm not a tattoo artist, but I mean, I come from a drawing background myself, so you can hit on both, the art and the Transformer stuff with me up online or whatever.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, Jazz Spin can tell you what my contact is.
I want to ask you guys if you know anything about this, because obviously you guys are more informed than I am. I'm not up to your guys' speed yet, but so for the exclusives for the new for TFCon 23 in Toronto, Does anyone know what they are besides the Optimus Prime? Is there a Masterminds Creations tape, Ocular Max tape, going to be there as well?
I haven't heard or seen anything.
Have you guys heard
about
anything?
it. I didn't even know there was an Optimus. Yeah, no.
Because, like, this is the only, like, this is the last tape that I got from them for their collection, and this is one of Blaster's guys. But I'm really hoping that there's more. And because, like I said, I love everything to do with Blaster and Soundwave. Just
I will say,
you guys do hear anything? Can you?
Yeah, they do tend to drop these like last minute, like very close to the actual show date. So it doesn't surprise me that we haven't heard anything yet. That's about all I can say about it.
Well, there is pictures of Optimus Prime up there. There's one already, but someone told me that Mastermind Creations is gonna have something, and the only thing I can think of is, you know, they've always had the tapes there the last few years, so why wouldn't it be? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, Spin, you're muted.
Wow, that's funny. Yeah, so
There you
Blizzard said, don't feel bad, Freakenstein. Steven has been a guest several times and still could not get Toy Warp's number.
I'm going to call nonstop if I get it.
Nope.
All right, over to Anthony. What do you have coming up for this week?
Well, I have acquired a large amount of the mini Dinobots that combine, so I'm going to be looking at those the next few weeks. First up is Grimlock. I'll post my written review and photos of him tomorrow. Earlier, if I can, possibly tomorrow afternoon. It's all done. I just gotta find the time to post it. And then the weeks after that, we're going to be looking at the rest of them. Here's Swoop. And he's an arm right now, but there's a new team member, Scar, the Ankylosaurus. We're still missing Snarl. He's not out yet, so I can't complete the full robot yet, but I am going to be looking at those guys the next few weeks, one by one. On top of the two that I already looked at, which were Slag and Sludge. So yeah, look forward to that on childrenpromise.com.
Snarl came out really good. He came out like, you know how Swoop has like posable arms, unlike the Grimlock and Slag, so he's more on par with Swoop from what I've been seeing online.
They unveiled him on the last
Hasbro just released him, actually. The one that you're looking for, Hasbro just released him. They just did that in their last video. So he should
they just
be up.
unveiled him. I was watching earlier this week.
Yeah.
So, he'll get here too, and then we'll have the full Super Robot combined. But for now, in my photos, I have fun taking his limbs and taking 5mm compatible parts and just giving him arms and legs that he doesn't yet have, because he can do that, so... Give him an extra arm there.
Yeah, Botbender Orange, he's been doing that a lot. The Volcanius bots adding like parts from other weaponizer, fossilizers, and modulators in the junk ends.
It's encouraged. They have all these 5mm parts that they just spread around the toy line, so like obviously they want you to build weird stuff with them, and so I oblige sometimes. You've seen me coat figures and weapons until they were like this big. That's a full feature. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow.
Cool. Actually, tomorrow I will be going to, we have fireworks. I'm going to go dressed up as Optimus Prime and bring out my Insta360 camera and try to film the fireworks watching as Optimus Prime and, get the reactions of the people. So hopefully it'll go well if it doesn't rain, because they will cancel if it rains.
Right.
So, yeah.
Cool. Hope that suit can survive the rain.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for coming out. Like our videos, subscribe to the channel, and thank you to everyone in the chats and comment sections. And once again, until we meet up again next week, to all are one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All are one.